Yes, family, big up yourself, large up yourself. It's your host, Sila Shalom on the ones and twos, aka Reality. You know how we do. You know what I mean? Vibes into the place, vibes into the place, vibes into the place. Y'all see what it is. You know what I mean? Putting together election tonight, something different. We're going to start bringing current events, different topics. You know what I mean? Little podcasting. While we in between seasons, in between episodes, bring a little something different to the table. You know what I mean? We waiting on our brother Malaki Macabee. He's going to be popping up in a minute. We're going to show face. We got something a little different for y'all, you know what I'm saying? A little different, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we're going to get a little bit of, we in the South. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. So, we in a Bible belt. So we got a lot of people that's religious in the South. So we're going to speak and feed on that particular topic today. We're going to touch on some religious topics today. The topic is called The Case Against Paul, the False Apostle, or Malaki Macabee. Oh, we got the brother in the building. I see him in the back chat. Let me go ahead and let the brother on. You know what I mean? We're going to let the brother on. Peace to the righteous God. What's good, my guy?
Righteous God. Can you hear me, brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Matter of fact, Nazarene is saying, anybody give us a 1 in the chat if we can be heard clearly. Give us a 1 in the chat if we can be heard clearly.
Yeah, I put the earphones in. I put the earphones in on this one. So
that's right.
Make sure my brother be heard in this slab, man. But
That's
right
right.
over having me on. Salute to Black Royal Family TV. Our brother Reality, aka Sila Shalom, in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The brother reached out to me and asked me to do something, and it was only right. I was like, "Oh yeah, bro. I got something ready to fly right now. That will guarantee disturb the hornet's nest. Guarantee."
See that?
Yeah,
so let me give the people a little background of what's going on. Outside of the filming, outside of Atlanta's Ugly, I got something else going on another YouTube channel where we deal with religion, we deal with spirituality, we deal with history,
yeah,
and we deal with current events, and we also deal with debates. You know what I mean? So we got a real thick skin over here. So my brother Malaki Macabee, he's 1/4 of the Creator Gang. We got a crew called the Creator Gang. You know what I mean? That's like we like the Wu-Tang when it comes to this religious debating world. You know what I mean? We bring the ruckus. You know what I'm saying?
Salute.
And my brother Malaki Macabee, tonight we're going to be touching on the subject of Paul the Apostle, because we know a lot of Christians, they follow the words of Paul. Even more, sometimes they follow the words of Jesus Christ, according to the Bible. You know what I mean? So before we go hard body into it, before we go hard body into the lecture, I'm going to let you introduce yourself one more time again. And then I'm going to play the introduction song one more time again. And then we're going to get into the lecture so we can get more people to come on in.
Well, look, first and foremost, all praises to the maker of suns, moons, and stars, the creator, the God maker, the ever-present, always was, is, and never shall be, the mighty and great spirit, the mighty and great I am, whose magnitude is incomprehensible and whose presence is everywhere. I'm your little brother, Malaki Macabee, the Creator Gang, stand up in the building. And I'm from the Israelite side of the track. You feel me? So Israelite for life. Y'all already know what time it is. Been teaching about 20 years now. I just turned 43 last week. So yeah, since I've been about 22, 21, you know what I mean? Anybody in the Israelite circles know me. It ain't even no guesswork, you understand? But we like to venture off into different territories and shine this light, man. And had the conversations a lot of people scared to have with their grandmamas and they pastors and they deacons and they Masonic uncles. And we had them conversations, you know what I mean? And today, you're in the right place. You're going to get fed today spiritually, but it's thought-provoking. It's going to cause arguments amongst your religious folk in your family. It is. You about to be arguing with these folk. about good old Paul. You understand? So
Right.
it is what it is, though. You know what I mean? If anybody know me, no, I don't mind kicking the hornet's nest, throwing something in the game that's a little controversial. You feel me? And that's just that ain't for me to have a one up on nobody. That's just to challenge us to think.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean, we're not thinking no more. We just automons, robots. Somebody say something third. You ain't questioning nothing. You ain't, hold on, what is that? Who is that? How that work? You understand?
Right.
If I do that, what's the consequences behind it? You need to be questioning everything. You dig? So that's basically who I am, man. You know what I mean? Your brother in arms, Malaki, Macabee, Megaton, Light Bomb, created gang.
That's right.
1/4 of the 4 horsemen, 1/4 of the turtle gang. You
That's
dig?
right.
And we here to step on the neck of your deity. Let's work, man. Y'all know what it is with me.
So there you have it. You know what I mean? This brother Malaki Macabee, he been around for a minute. You know what I mean? Well over a decade dropping knowledge and information dealing with the Hebrew Israelite community. Matter of fact, won't you give him a name, the name of your Hebrew Israelite camp that you was running, that you was promoting in what was it? New Orleans? Was it St. Louis, right?
We from St. Louis. Honor and Humility, STL.
That's right.
STL, Melchizedek Assembly. You know what I mean? Everybody know what it is or what it ain't, but it ain't nothing new.
That's right.
It ain't nothing new. You understand? So, hey, shout out to my brothers in St. Louis as well and all over the globe, man. Number love and light.
Y'all hear that? So we just gonna run the intro beat one more time.
Facts.
So give a little time for people to come in because I know it's a little late Friday. People probably settling and getting ready.
You know what I mean? It's a good thing you did it on Friday and not Sunday. You know the Super Bowl coming up.
I know, that's crazy.
That's like a religion in Negro, so you better off doing it today.
Yeah, big facts. Yeah.
Shout out to my brother Nazarene Scene TV, man. Salute, bro. I be trying to get up with you. Let's chop it up.
Yeah, shout out to the chat, man. So I see Nazarene's tapping in. You know what I mean? I see the Data done tapped in. Sipping homage. I see you, sister, and CGG all day.
Salute.
You know what I mean? So we're just going to play the intro right quick, and then we're going to get to it right after that.
Let's cook.
You know what I mean? We about to cook it up, family. Y'all hear that, right? Y'all see that? Y'all here motivating the family. Y'all make sure to hit them likes. Y'all make sure to hit them likes as y'all come in the chat. Y'all make sure to hit them likes when y'all come in the chat. You know what I mean? There's 13 people in. That should be 13 likes. Let's rock. family. Yes, family. Yes, family. You know what I mean? We about to get into it. We about to get into it. We about to get into it. You hear me? We about to bring y'all that truthful light. You know what I mean? All right, so let me see here. All right, got my brother Malaki Macabee in the building.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do, family. Basically, we deal with the scriptures over here. We deal with knowledge itself over here. And we're not simple-minded believers. We're not the type of brothers to run around and say, believe in Jesus, 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 catching the Holy Ghost. We're not those type of brothers. We're more on a scholarly level when it comes to this Bible and it comes to this information. We're not the type of brother just going to try to convince you to be saved in Jesus' name, believe in Jesus, and they're the end. We're a little bit more seasoned when it comes to this information. We're a little bit more layered and detailed when it comes to this information. We have debated with scholars, PhDs, Christians, Muslims, Hebrews. We are very vast when it comes to this information. So take this opportunity, this time to learn from our brother Malaki Macabee. And if you are seasoned in this, if you have knowledge yourself, and if you may feel that it's some things you may hear that you feel you may want to question, feel free. We're open for discussion at the end. You know what I mean? If you got something to say, you agree, you disagree, feel free to bring it up towards the end. If you got any questions, you can hop online or you can leave it in the chat. So with that, I'm going to let Malaki Macabee, I'm going to give him the floor. I'm going to let him go ahead and introduce what he's about to perform. And just let me know when you want me to share your screen, King.
I already got it pulled up. Go ahead and share it.
All right, say less.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We ain't wasting no time over here, son.
Let's go ahead and cook. Let's go ahead and cook. Now, a lot of these...
No, before you start, King, do you want me to do a full screen or you want to do it like this? What you think?
Do the full screen. That way it can be right in their face with it.
All right, say less.
Yeah, that way it can be right there.
Okay, and let me know when you want me to go full screen.
Okay. Yeah, just to let everybody know, man. A lot of these Google documents that we have, me, the brother Sela or Reality, our brother the Cloud Kicker Cosmon Cal, our brother the Equalizer Robert McCall Daryl Cosmon. A lot of the documents that we have are many books. You feel me? And they're put together in a debate format. So a lot of this is rapid fire. You dig? But we also can take the same exact document, right, and do a presentation. You feel me? Where it's not as rapid fire, but it slows down. You dig? And now the people can really hone in and see what's really being said. You understand? So we do it all, man. Debates, interviews, hot seats. You understand? If it's smoke, we pull up and see where the fire is. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? Team debates too. You know, shout out to my brothers, man. We done took down some major league. Some cats caught themselves coming against us, teamed up, and both times it was an extinction level event.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Because we prepare. You feel me? Like we see these things coming in, and we don't take nobody lightly. You may have seen lately the likes of Billy Carson getting exposed, and Lord Jamar getting exposed, and all types of different Israelites amongst Christian apologists, and it's a lot of exposure going on right now. You know what I mean? When it comes down to the God topic, when it comes down to Jesus, when it comes down to spirituality, the afterlife. You know what I mean? It's a lot of questions that's still on the table that a lot of people don't have answers for. You know what I mean? One of the things that's major in what we bringing out tonight is part of what we call the God spell. The God spell. And believe it or not, everybody, majority, if not all, that run around here claiming that they follow who they call the Messiah or Christ really is following Paul or Saul of Tarsus. You know, look, it's by design he has the majority of the books in the New Testament, but he never met Jesus. That's all by design. That's not something you just sneeze at or you just yawn at and sweep up under the rug. No, that's by design. So today we about to go ahead and just bring some clarity to the situation. And hey, again, it's highly controversial. You about to be arguing with all your religious folk. I'm just gonna give you a fair warning right now. You understand? It's very, very controversial. You dig? But
Yes.
controversy is good. Controversy is good at times, man. It checks your spirit. You know what I mean? Make sure you got your I's dotted and your T's crossed. You know what I mean? You make sure you prepared. So it's all good, man.
And you know what? That's real talk. And just to piggyback off what the brother is saying, what we're going to basically be dealing with today is the discrepancies of the epistles of Paul in contradiction to what Jesus left behind with his disciples to spread across the four corners of the earth. We're going to see if what Jesus taught to his disciples match up with what Paul went out and preached, the men who never met him, the men who had the vision on the road to Damascus.
Yes.
So for the Macabee is about to go in, get your pencils, get your paper, get your notes, because this is like college course level scholarship y'all about to hear right now.
Yeah, and also, again, Paul is a very, very interesting character. You understand? But what's so damaging about what you about to hear tonight, damaging, is that it's all coming out his own letters. You see what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't even be able to get up here and flap my yaps. You did. But the fact that I'm going right to his letters, Galatians, Ephesians, Corinthians, and showing you the hostility, showing you, you understand, he was doing his own thing. It wasn't about what was already established. You know what I mean? So go ahead and hit the full screen, brother. And let's get into it.
Oh,
let's go ahead and work.
It's about to go down, son. All right, so full screen. Here we go. Let's work.
Let's work, man. All right, so y'all see the topic right here. Again, this is a document that we got in Google called Google Doc. That's been we've had this for 2 years now, since like March of 2023. You know what I mean? Put together by yours truly, your brother. All right, was Saul/Paul of Tarsus a false apostle, or his teachings hostile toward the original apostles? Acts chapter 1, 21 through 26. Wherefore these men which have company with us all the time that the Master Yeshua went in and out among us, beginning from the baptism of John until the same day that he was taken up from us, must one be ordained to be a witness of his resurrection. And they appointed two, Joseph, called Barsabas, who was surnamed Justus, and Mattathias. Interesting. And they what? And they prayed. And they prayed and said, Thou, Lord, which knowest the hearts of all men, show which of these two you have chosen, that he may what? Take part of this ministry, what they already had established, this ministry and apostleship, from which Judah by transgression fell, that he might go to his own place. And they gave forth their lots, and the lot fell upon Mattathias, and he was numbered with the 11 apostles. Apostleship, no excuses. Point number one. An apostle had to be a day one. Y'all see that? Meaning he had to be around and witness the Messiah coming in and going out amongst the other apostles. Point number two. Had to witness the Messiah's baptism. Point number three. Had to witness the Messiah's ascension. These are the requirements for all apostles. Saul/Paul, or anyone claiming to be an apostle outside of these requirements, is false.
So pause. Let me interject for a minute. So basically what you're saying is that in order to be an apostle, you have to go through these steps that you just mentioned. You have to bear witness. You have to be in the presence of the Messiah in order to be classified as a real apostle.
Yeah. There are requirements. You can't just, eat too much spaghetti and wake up at night, have you a dream, wake up, blew your drawers out and say, I'm an apostle now. No, we read it. He had to be a witness of his baptism by his cousin John, If you believe in the Bible's narrative, his ascension,
Okay.
and you had to be there when Yahshua Hamashiach was going in and out amongst the brothers. Who would trip off this? Maybe you just not no apostle. How about you go be a deacon or something, or you know, you go be you what they call them boys, an usher or something, or you know, an elder. You dig? Everybody's not an apostle. There are requirements for being an apostle. You feel me?
So those requirements you just read for being an apostle would only apply for those of that day in that century.
Yeah, anybody coming after that is not an apostle. That don't mean you ain't a follower of what they talking about, but you're not an apostle. You got a different office.
Okay.
You understand? You don't got the office. You're not the principal. You could be the vice principal or the, you know what I mean? You could be the manager or the supervisor, depending on if you fulfill the requirements, but you're not no apostle.
So better off.
Any preacher today talking about they're an apostle, they're lying. Just take them to Acts chapter 1.
So they better off saying that they are followers of the apostles than to say that they are apostles.
Yeah, followers of Messiah or followers of the apostles' doctrine.
Gotcha.
But don't call yourself an apostle because there are requirements for being an apostle.
All right, so now we're going to piggyback off that just so the viewers will be clear. So basically what the brother was saying is that he is showing you using scripture what is required to be an apostle. Now let's run that back one more time and I'm gonna let you rock out.
Okay, right here, apostleship, no excuses. Point number 1, had to be a day one. Okay, meaning had to be around and witness the Messiah coming in and going out amongst the other apostles. Point number 2, had to witness the Messiah's baptism. Point number 3, had to witness the Messiah's ascension. That's everything we just read in Acts chapter 1, 21 on down to 26. That was the whole process. That was the order. That's called an ordination ritual, basically. You know what I mean? That's the way they ordained you, not by giving you a certificate printed off your printer. You know what I mean? Or you went to theology school. No, you just had to be a witness of Yeshua when he was alive. That's it. Nigga, you had to be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? That just makes sense, man. Should nobody be fighting against that. You know what I mean? Look at this. Point number 4. Look at this. Joseph and Mattathias were selected by the apostles. So obviously they were what, y'all? They were around to be witnesses. Point number 5. The apostles prayed and then cast lots. Point number 6, the lot fell on Mattathias. He becomes the 12th apostle. This was the ordination process an apostle had to go through. There it is. You know what I mean? And if anybody wanted to kick against that, all you got to do is ask them, well, show me according to the Bible, what are the requirements for being an apostle?
Pause. That's an excellent point right there. For all you Christians, you pastors, what are the requirements to becoming an apostle according to the Bible? Go ahead, King.
Yeah, not according to your feelings, not because whatever spiritual experience you had, none of that. You feel me? According to the Bible that majority of the world stands on. What are the requirements for being an apostle, and what is the ordination ritual? Because a lot of y'all claiming to be ordained. You're ordained. Okay, we just went through the ordination ritual. You know what I mean? They prayed, they cast lots. The lot fell on this brother. Okay, well, that's who it is then. You see, they didn't go picking strangers. They had to go pick day ones. The men, the bros they picked to become the 12th apostle, they had to fulfill the requirements. They had to be a witness of Yeshua going in and out. They had to witness his baptism and witness his ascension. That they may take part of this ministry. It was already established. So who is this coming afterwards changing everything up?
Okay.
You see? Now watch this. It's easy work, man. All you got to do is slow down, right? Now look at this. Paul's whole claim to being an apostle was solely based on his revelation and not on the above requirements. Look at this. Galatians chapter 1, 11 through 12. Saul of Tarsus defends his ministry. But I certify you, brethren, that the gospel which was preached of me is not after man. Verse 12. For I neither received it of man, neither was I taught it, but by the revelation of Jesus Christ. Look at this. According to Saul of Tarsus, the following is true. The gospel he preaches doesn't come after mortal men. Point number 2. He didn't receive his gospel from mortal men. Point number 3. Nor was he taught what he preaches by a mortal man. Admitting this means he wasn't taught by the apostles of the Messiah, nor of the earthly Yeshua before he was murdered. His gospel don't come from the men that were ordained to spread it. See, look at this. Saul's whole claim to being an apostle was based on his revelation that he experienced on the famous road to Damascus. A self-proclaimed apostle with 3 different conversion stories. Now, hold on now.
Hold on.
You mean to tell me?
So you're telling me when Paul was going to the road to Damascus, there's 3 different versions of that story?
Yeah, that story is 3 to 4. That story is told 3 to 4 different ways.
Oh man, go into it.
And a lot of people, when we bring this to a lot of folks, they be offended. You feel me? And it's like, well, hold on. This his whole claim. Look, if this never happens, you understand? This his whole claim to even being an apostle. You understand? That's how major this is. This is his only claim.
So basically, Paul on the road to Damascus sees the spirit of Jesus, and from that point is proclaiming to be an apostle, although he never met Jesus when he was doing his ministry in the flesh.
There you go. There you go. That's problematic because it's men around called apostles that we just was reading about, right? That knew Yahshua or Jesus when he was in the flesh, laughed with him, ate with him, hugged him, learned from him. You understand? Understood the mission and everything. You feel me? Why wouldn't their writings be overwhelmingly in the New Testament?
Right.
Look at that. So look at this. We're gonna go to Acts real quick. Acts chapter 9. Acts chapter 9. We're gonna read verses 3, 4, and 7. Now look at this. As he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven. Verse 4. And he fell to the earth and heard a voice saying to him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And the men which
hold on. So go back up. So you're telling me that in verse 3, it says suddenly shine round about him a light from heaven. So he's seeing a light from heaven as he's walking.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and then it's so powerful that he fell to the earth and he heard a voice speaking to him. Okay. And the voice asked him, why are you persecuting me? And the men which journeyed with him, so Paul wasn't by himself, there were men there with him, all right, stood speechless, hearing a voice, but seeing no man. Remember that. That's crucial. All right. Now look, I'm going to go over it. According to this conversion account about Saul of Tarsus, the following is true. Acts chapter 9. A light from heaven surrounded Paul or Saul. Point number 2. Saul fell to the earth and heard the voice of Jesus. Point number 3, the men with him didn't fall. Point number 4, the men with him heard the voice of Jesus but didn't see Jesus. That's what we just read. That's what we just read. Now watch this. Same, look, trip about this. Different verse, different chapter, but it's about the same event. Paul was on his road to Damascus. Watch this. And it came to pass that as I made my journey, it was come nigh unto Damascus about noon. Suddenly there shone from heaven a great light round about me. And I fell into the ground and heard a voice saying unto me, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And they that were with me saw indeed the light and were afraid, but they heard not. But they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. Hold on. Hold on. They heard the voice in Acts chapter 9. Look at it. According to this conversion account about Paul or Saul of Tarsus, the following is true. Acts 22. A great light from heaven surrounded Saul. The men with him saw that light. Saul falls to the ground Saul heard the voice of Jesus. The men with Saul didn't hear the voice of Jesus.
Clear contradiction.
Clear contradiction. Clear. Now, this is the last one. And again, y'all, this is his only claim to being Paul the Apostle. It's about that encounter right there on the road to Damascus. Look at this. Acts 26:13. At midday, O king, I saw on the way a light from heaven above, the brightness of the sun, shining round about me and them which journeyed with me. And when we all were falling to the earth, and when we were all falling to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And that's some Greek. That's from a Greek playwright. So that's a whole nother topic. And I said, who art thou, Lord? He said, I am Jesus whom thou persecutest. According to this conversion account about Saul of Tarsus, the following is true. Point 1, a light from heaven surrounded Saul and those with him. They all fell to the earth. As anyone can see, these three conversion accounts contradict each other. Why is this so important? Remember what Saul of Tarsus said earlier. His apostleship and the gospel he preaches is solely and wholly based on his revelation. If his conversion account, if his revelation account has holes in it, then we must naturally question his authority or apostleship. Let's take a closer look. And the men which journeyed with him stood speechless. They were still standing, stood speechless, hearing a voice, but seeing no man. Acts 22:9. And they that were with me saw indeed the light and were afraid, but they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. Look at that. See, man, Acts 9, they hear the voice. Acts 22, they don't hear the voice.
Interesting.
Look at this, Acts 26, and when we were all fallen to the earth. Hold on. They were standing in Acts chapter 9. Only Paul fell. In Acts chapter 9, Acts 22, Acts 26, and when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. Saul openly defends his ministry and boldly declares the gospel he preaches wasn't given to him by a mortal man, but by a revelation from Jesus Christ. Look at this, y'all. The only mortal men who could challenge Saul's authority as an apostle on a level to where Saul had to respond would be who? The true apostles. He's defending his ministry. Why is your ministry under attack? Why? And who got the authority to even attack what you're doing out there?
Let's pause for a second. Pause right there, right? So basically what the brother just read is Paul's claim to fame of him being an apostle for Jesus Christ. While the brother just read earlier, those who bear witness to the life, death, and resurrection of the Mashiach are the true apostles. Those are the ones who's going to be spreading the true gospel of the Messiah because they bear witness to him in the flesh. But now you have Paul on the road to Damascus with several different versions of his experience of this so-called light and this so-called entity that's supposed to be Jesus Christ. And now he's going to be coming with his own apostleship and ministry. So here's where the split occurs between the true apostles, which were James, the follower of Yeshua brother, and Paul, a self-proclaimed apostle. So go ahead, King.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people don't understand that Yeshua left his biological brother in charge. He's in charge. When you get up to Acts 15, the assembly in Jerusalem, or the Jerusalem Council, James actually stands up and gives a judgment on what Paul and them supposed to be teaching amongst the Gentiles. You know what I mean? You got to ask yourself, did Paul carry that message, or did he switch up and start speaking something different? You know what I mean? Look at this, 1 Corinthians 9. Look at what Paul, look at good old Saul of Tarsus. Look at this. 1 Corinthians 9, 1-5. Am I not an apostle? He's writing to the assembly in Corinth, you know what I mean? And he's why do we got to defend his ministry?
Right.
Why do he got to defend his apostleship? Why was his apostleship under scrutiny? Why? Look at this. Am I not an apostle? Question. Am I not free? Have I not seen Jesus Christ our Lord? Or not ye my work in the Lord? He admits his authority as an apostle is being questioned, and that the church at Corinth is his work, or as he puts it, my work. Hold on. Verse 2. Look what he's saying. If I be not an apostle unto others, hold on. Yet doubtless I am to you. For the seal of mine apostleship are you in the Lord. So he admits that he's not an apostle unto who he calls others. And that the church of Corinth is the proof or seal of his apostleship. So not the requirements that we read about above. He just, what do you mean the church in Corinth is the proof of your apostleship? No, that the proof of apostleship is Acts chapter 1. Verse 21 through 26, you had to witness Yeshua going in and out amongst the brothers. You had to witness his baptism, and you had to witness his ascension.
You hear that, Rio? You hear that, Rio James in the chat? You hear that?
Yeah, Acts chapter 1. So in other words, whoever got a problem, just show us according to the Bible, what does it take to be an apostle? According to the Bible, what are the requirements for being an apostle? We can leave the feelings out of it. You know what I mean? I'm saying Acts chapter 1, 21 through 26. You know what I mean? Now look at this. Look at this. Verse 3. My answer to them that do examine me is this. So Paul admits there is a group of men that are casting judgment on his supposed authority. Verse 4. Have we not power to eat and drink? Obviously, there is a certain level of authority an apostle has. If Saul's apostleship is being questioned, then so is his authority. Verse 5. Have we not power to lead about a sister, a wife, as well as other apostles, and as the brother and the brethren of the master and Cephas? So he admits to the existence of the true apostles and included the brothers of Yeshua among them. Look at that, y'all. Look at that. Paul's own letters, 1 Corinthians 9 and 5. Have we not power to lead about a sister, a wife, as well as other apostles? And as the brethren of the master. The master is Yeshua. The brethren of the master and Cephas, which is some say Peter. So he admits to the existence of the true apostles. Look at that. And included the brothers of Yeshua amongst them as well as Cephas. Amplified Bible, 1 Corinthians 9 and 3. So let's read it from a different version. This is my defense. Listen to what Paul is saying, y'all. This is my defense to those who would put me on trial and interrogate me concerning my authority as an apostle. Look at that. Look at that. And again, it's about being an apostle. It ain't about a deacon. It ain't about being an elder. You understand? No, this is a specific office. You understand? Called an apostle. And Yeshua HaMashiach had 12 of them. They were disciples or students at first, and then they got hit with some authority. You understand? These are the ones that were ordained to go forward and speak and teach what it is. Look what else Paul says. Aramaic Bible in plain English, 1 Corinthians 9 and 5. And why is it illegal for us to travel with a sister / wife as other apostles and as the brothers of our Lord and as Caiaphas, 1 Corinthians 9 and 5. Galatians 1 through 2. Now here's Paul again. Paul, an apostle, look at this, not of men, neither by man. Why he got to keep bringing up men? Because there's only one group of men that has the authority to teach and go forward and teach what Yeshua was talking about. So whenever he's writing, he got to make it be clear. He's making it clear, I ain't on what they own over there. See, those are apostles that were ordained by Yeshua, and what they teach, and they teach others. Everybody got to go to them. So in essence, they got to go to men, mortal men, to get the message of Yeshua. Paul saying, I didn't do that. I didn't have to do that. You see?
So basically, any hostilities Paul is speaking about concerning other apostles is directly speaking about the 12 disciples, the 12 apostles joined by Yeshua.
There are no other apostles.
Okay.
There are none. That's why we started off with the Acts chapter 1. If they can't show you the requirements for being an apostle in the Bible, Acts chapter 1 makes it clear, ain't no other apostles outside of this. So whenever Paul is bringing up other apostles, y'all, he talking about the ones in Jerusalem ordained by Yeshua. Ain't no other apostles. Ain't none.
Okay.
Ain't no other apostles. You know what I mean? So and Trip, he ain't talking about nothing else. He ain't talking about your deacon, your bishop, your elder. He got something going on with these apostles. Yeah. So Paul, an apostle, not of men, neither by man, but by Jesus Christ and God the Father, who raised him from the dead. And all the brethren which are with who? Me. Which are with me. Unto the churches of Galatia. Now remember, they said earlier, they picking this 12th apostle so he can take part of this ministry. It's already, what they doing already established. But Paul got brothers with him. Look, point 1. Verse 1 is yet another example of Saul declaring to be an apostle, but not of men or a man. The only men who had the power and authority to challenge Saul concerning the Messiah are the apostles. Notice, Paul makes it clear he's talking about a specific group of people that are with him, as opposed to who or whom he's about to go in about. Look at this. Notice, Saul goes to the extent of cursing and condemning anyone who taught another gospel than his. The word gospel itself proves he's not addressing the biblical Sadducees or the Sadducees and Pharisees. Notice how much he's about to use the term. Who's teaching the good news of Yeshua? You gotta go to the apostles to get that. Look at this. Galatians 1 and 6. Paul again. So he's writing to the assembly in Galatia. This is what he says. I marvel that you are so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of Christ unto what? Another gospel. Even though he says another, he still admits that what is being taught is still a gospel or messianic. It's just different than his gospel. Look at this. Which is not another, but there be some that trouble you and will pervert the gospel of Christ. Saul admits this other gospel is troubling the church of Galatia and is a perversion from his doctrine called the gospel of Christ. Verse 8, but though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than which we have preached. Remember, Paul said he got a whole crew with him. Than which we have preached unto you. Let him be accursed. See, Paul would have been cursing all the different Israelite groups and all the different Christian groups. But don't nobody got the same exact gospel or message. Everybody got something different. Paul say if it's different than what I'm saying, you're damned. You're cursed.
So basically, so hold up. So now he's getting bold with it. So he's saying that if you ain't listening to what I'm saying, as far as this Christ, you niggas is accursed.
He's saying you're damned or you're cursed if you're not listening to what I'm saying. Now, ask yourself why he got to go that hard. Why he got to go that hard to defend what he's saying? If what you're saying is absolute truth, you don't got to throw no fear tactic on it and say, if you don't listen to me, you're done. Nigga, you're fricassee. You know what I mean? You're cooked.
You're cursed.
Yeah, like what is all that about? But the key word is another gospel. See, the gospels is the only ones ordained to teach it is the apostles. They the ones that got it. You know what I mean? We gonna address your 2 Peter 3:15-16. That's a pseudonym. I don't know if you know that, Adam Fields. That was written in the mid-2nd century, not written by Peter. You know what I mean? And on top of that, he called Paul's letters scriptures. The only scriptures in the 1st century was the Tanakh. Try again. But look at it.
Pause. See, I just want to let y'all know, Adam Fields, Rio, you ain't dealing with no lightweights up here. When we finish this presentation, I'm gonna drop the link if you want to come on and you want to challenge a brother. We're going to show you how sharp the sword really is. Go ahead, King.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at this. So Paul's cursing anyone that's not rolling with him. According to Saul, this other gospel and anyone pushing it, including the angel, is condemned. Verse 9. As we said before, so say I now again. If any man preach, and y'all, I'm reading Paul's letters. I ain't flapping I'm going right to him. They scholars say this nigga wrote Galatians, Corinthians, Ephesians. I'm going right to his letters. That's what make what we doing so damaging. You dig? Because we ain't got to assume nothing. Go right to his letters. He telling himself. Look at this. As we said before, so say I now again. If any man preach any other what? Gospel. He ain't say Tanakh verse. He ain't say Torah portion. Huh? He ain't say the scroll of Isaiah. He say gospel. Who preaching the gospel? Who are the other apostles preaching a gospel? Come on, man. If any man preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have received, let him be accursed. Any man, y'all, would include the true apostles in Jerusalem. So if they teach something different than what Paul is bringing out, then Paul is cursing them. Your key words you got to look into, y'all, is apostles and gospel. That's it. Ask yourself, who are the apostles? You feel me? And whoever they are, they the ones that got the true message from Yeshua. So who is Paul talking about? You think he just talking about some random naked Gentiles up in the Greek Isles? No. No, they don't got the authority to become no type of apostle. They didn't witness Yeshua go in and out amongst the brethren. They didn't witness his baptism. They didn't witness his ascension. You can't be no apostle then.
So basically, what's going on is that Paul is directly talking about a specific people. He's not just randomly talking. He's not just wishful thinking. He's speaking directly to James and the rest of the disciples, because those are the ones who's carrying, preaching the true gospel of the Messiah, or the brother of James, which is Jesus, Yeshua. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, absolutely. Now look, we about to get into what's called the Nazarene Acts, right? So let's take a look into who and whom Saul of Tarsus is condemning and cursing. Right? Y'all, there's a letter of Peter to James. Look at this. Look how Peter addresses James. James is the biological brother of Yeshua HaMashiach.
I pause now, just for clarity, because not everybody may know. So who is James? You just mentioned he's the biological brother of Jesus. A lot of people don't know that Jesus, Yeshua, had brothers.
Yeah. So you can find that, though. It's right in the Bible, y'all. You can go Matthew 13, verses 53 through 55. It's seven children.
And for those who may or may not know, Peter, who's Peter?
And Peter is one of the right-hand men of Yeshua, one of his original disciples.
All right, go ahead.
So this right here historically is after the death of Yeshua. And look how Peter, and he's a disciple that had some top rank. But look how Peter addresses James, the brother of Yeshua. Peter, to James, the Lord and Bishop of the Holy Church, the master and bishop of the Holy Church, under the Father of all, through Yeshua, which is peace always. Peter addressing James like James has the authority over the brews in Jerusalem and over the whole messianic movement, because that's where it was headquartered from.
And then to interject real quick, the key point of that sentence right there is, and bishop of the Holy Church. That's you know what I mean? That's rank.
That's what I'm saying. He's the one that was left in charge. You see? That's what I'm saying, man. It's like a lot of people really don't know, because they don't really dig deep or go further than what they've been told. Now, this is Clement. Look how Clement addresses James.
Now, for those who don't know, who is Clement?
Clement is a Gentile convert to the Nazarene way of living, or the Essene way of living. You know what I mean? Gotcha. Now look at Clement. Clement addresses James. He say, Clement, to James, the Lord or master and the bishop of bishops, who rules Jerusalem, the holy church of the Hebrews, and the churches everywhere. Excellently founded by the providence of God, with the elders and deacons and the rest of the brethren, peace be always.
Mm.
See, so these are the men that would have been teaching, like James, Peter. They the ones that would have been they apostles who was teaching the gospel or the message of Yeshua. They was the ones ordained to do it.
Mm.
And it's evident you got Peter and Clement let it be known. Like, look, we got to tap back in and check in with James, man. You know what I mean? He the one that was left in charge. And by the time you get up to Acts 15, he the one that stand up and give his judgment and say, look, this is what y'all teach. And he charged Paul and them, Paul and Barnabas. Like, look, this is what y'all go out there and teach. You know what I mean? You got to ask yourself, did Paul teach that, or did he decide to start teaching different? You know what I mean? Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, or the recognitions of Clement. Now look at this. Look what Peter says. Look at this. Therefore, he's speaking of Yeshua, right? He say, therefore, our master, confirming the worship of one Yahweh, one Yahuwah, answered him, it is written, you will worship Yahweh, your Elohim, and him only will you serve. And he, terrified by this answer, and fearing lest the true obedience of the one and true Yahuwah should be restored, hastened straightway to send forth into this world false Naveen, prophets, and false Shlikim, apostles, and false Morim, teachers, who should speak indeed in the name of Messiah, but should accomplish the will of the demon. Look at that. So that right there was about when, if y'all familiar with the story of when Jesus told the devil, get thee hence, when he was tempting them to turn stones into bread and all that. Peter giving a breakdown of it and saying that the devil was so terrified of Yeshua's answer that he hurried up and sent forth false prophets, false apostles, and false teachers who would have Messiah on their tongue, but really they will be accomplishing the will of a devil.
Great deception right there.
Great deception. Now look at this. False apostles, false shlikim. Look at it. Look what Peter says. So observe the greatest caution. Pay attention, right? So observe the greatest caution, that you believe no teacher. You believe no teacher unless he bring from Jerusalem the testimonial of Yaakov, James, Yeshua's brother. He like, look, if he ain't teaching what James gave him, don't even accept him. Look at this. And then knows what he said. So observe the greatest caution, that you believe no teacher unless he bring from Jerusalem, the testimony of Yaakov, James, Yeshua's brother, or of whosoever may come after him. For no one, unless he has gone up thither, and there has been approved as a fit and faithful teacher for preaching the word of Mashiach, unless I say he brings a testimonial from there, is by any means to be received. Look at that, boy. He say if he ain't teaching what James gave him, don't even receive him. You got Paul. Ain't I'm an apostle? Don't I got authority? Ain't I seen Jesus? Oh, I ain't get mine from man. No. Whoever ain't teaching what I'm teaching, he's cursed.
That's right.
It's starting to make sense now.
Right.
It's starting to unfold. No, it's protocol to this. You can't just wake up, sniff the Folgers, and say, I think, gee whiz, I think I want to be an apostle today.
Right.
No, it's protocol. You understand? And it was headquartered not from the Vatican, but from Jerusalem. You got to ask yourself, why the hell is Christianity headquartered from the Vatican in Rome? That ain't where it's from. It ain't start there. Look at this right here. So he say, you ain't even supposed to receive nobody. You know what I mean? Look at this. But let neither prophet nor apostle be looked for you at this time besides us. Peter say, don't even look for a prophet or apostle around at this time except for us. Look at this. For there is one prophet of truth, whose words we 12 apostles preach. For he is the accepted year of Yahuwah, having us apostles, Shlikim, as his 12 months. See that? Talk to me, Sheila. I already know that where your creative juices turning, brother. Reality.
So you basically showing and proving. That's what I said. This is not, you know what I mean, lick your finger scholarship, as my brother would say. He's showing you layers. He's showing you the split between Paul's teachings as an apostle compared to the 12 disciples' preachings as the apostle.
Absolutely.
And then he's going to show you the differences in the doctrine soon.
Yep. So right here, y'all, it's called a doctrine of reserve. And when you further read into Peter's epistle to James, they get into it like, look, you know, it's certain people running around teaching this thing wrong. So they decided to go ahead and start initiating Nazarenes a certain way. You know what I mean? But I got the summary of what it is right here. So we ain't got to read through all that. Look at this right here. When y'all get a chance, read Peter's epistle to James. You'll love it. You know what I mean? But as we see, the Nazarene apostles had a doctrine of reserve that every teacher in the movement had to be initiated into. 6 years of training under a true apostle. Eventual circumcision, if not already done, and it is sealed with baptism or immersion. Does Paul of Tarsus meet the requirements of being an apostle? No. Did Saul of Tarsus go through any ordination process to become an ordained apostle? No. Did Saul of Tarsus go through the Nazarene initiation process and trial to become a certified teacher? No. Galatians 1:17. Look at this. Paul again. See, that's what make what we talking about so dangerous. You can get mad all you want, but you got to address what Paul is writing. You know what I mean? Galatians 1:17. Neither went I up to Jerusalem to them which were apostles before me. Look at this.
So he's telling you right there.
He's telling you, I ain't go check in. I did not. When I had my spiritual experience on the road to Damascus, whose story I can't seem to get right. Why did he go to Jerusalem? No, look where he went. He say, but I went into Arabia.
Hold on. Right after the topic. And so he ain't go checking with the brothers.
No. When he first got that, what happened when on that road to Damascus, he went to Arabia. Hold on, we just read where Peter's saying, look, if they don't go to Jerusalem and get stamped valid by James and teaching what James is talking about, then foul ball.
All right, so let's make this make sense for the hood. So basically what Malaki is saying is that Paul's supposed to check in. You know, when you go to a different city and they say you got to check in, Paul's supposed to be checking in with the brothers.
Facts. And
he ain't checking in.
He ain't checking his protocol to it. Like you gotta come holler. And I remind you, these the same brothers he been hunting. And depending on if you got the certain type of literature, he even tried to kill James, Yahshua's brother. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother topic. I got it documented and everything. He actually tried to kill him, threw him off a flight of steps, broke his legs. So if you really are being, you know what I mean, inspired and led by this man's brother in spirit, boy, if you don't get on back over there and humble yourself and apologize to these brothers,
right?
You know what I mean? You just try to kill this man, little brother, broke his legs. Come on, bro. All you got to do is just slow down and read what Paul's saying. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's in the Nazarene Acts. That's in the Nazarene Acts. This nigga Paul come through and he throw James off the top flight of steps.
That's crazy, yo.
Yeah, that's in the Nazarene literature.
That nigga James gonna let that nigga do him like that, yo.
Hell, like that, bro. I'm telling you.
Hey, you know what? The only way he could have done that is that goddamn Roman agent pass.
Man, I'm saying.
That's
now look at this. It was a riot that basically broke out in the temple. You know what I mean? They was up in there, bringing out the message of Yeshua. Man, nigga Paul came through that deal. Nigga, I'm talking about throwing bows. Wasn't playing. You know what I mean? He survived.
This is after his road to Damascus.
Nah, right after that, he went on his road to Damascus. It tells you there in the Nazarene literature.
Okay.
Because he thought James and them went that way. But they, you know what I mean, they went to their little hideout. You know, he healed up a little taste and everything.
So y'all hear that? Y'all got to go ahead and read that. What's it called? What's the book called?
Nazarene Acts of the Apostle. I scroll up. So
y'all go ahead and get that book.
Yep.
Giving you more detailed account what happened with.
It's Peter's journeys. You know what I mean? His journeys and all that, because he had to check in too. It's right here, y'all. Nazarene Acts of the Apostles.
Y'all make sure to get that right there.
Yep, all that, man. We ain't just talking out the side of our neck. You dig? Yep, it's an excellent read. You know what I mean? You start seeing some of this stuff for what it is. Like, hold on, what? Dang, they straight had a whole protocol that had to go down. You know what I mean? Now let's get back to Paul. Because he keeps saying he ain't dealing with no men when it comes to his gospel and his revelation and what he on.
Right.
Neither went I up to Jerusalem to them which were apostles before me, but I went into Arabia and returned again unto Damascus. So his gospel doesn't come from Jerusalem or from the apostles. Arabia, Damascus, sit your ass down somewhere. You know what I mean? You all out of protocol. Look at this, verse 18. Then after 3 years, I went up to Jerusalem. Look at that. So finally, he goes up to Jerusalem.
You go check in.
Yeah, to see Peter and abode with him 15 days. Peter is an apostle, right? 19. Well, look what he said. But other of the apostles saw I none. The apostles in Jerusalem, y'all. But other of the apostles saw I none, except or save James, the master's brother. So for anybody saying how you know James wasn't an apostle, Paul said it. What the hell you mean? According to his own words, he's Yeshua's brother and he's an apostle.
So he just gave it up right there.
Yeah, he tell on himself. Y'all, these are the men he would have had to learn from. Peter, James, John, all of them.
So basically, this is his first encounter with the brothers?
That's his first encounter with the brothers since his so-called conversion to the faith of this celestial Jesus that he bumped into on the road to Damascus. 3 years later.
That's crazy.
But other of the apostles saw I none save James, the master's brother. Saul admits James is an apostle and brother of who? Yeshua Mashiach, boy. Verse 20. Now the things which I write unto you, behold before God, I lie not. You got to believe me, y'all. I ain't lying. Now look at this. Look at this, man. Hey, look, if y'all get some understanding, some clarity, you know what I mean? Hey, y'all go ahead and drop some 9,000s in the chat, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to Black Royal Family TV, man. Y'all like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. You know what I mean? Do all that good stuff, man. We out here. Shout out to the gang, man. Shout out to the CGG Credit Gang. Shout out to the Cloud Kicker Cosmar Kyle in the building, man.
You already know Cosmar crazy ass.
Yeah, you know he's somewhere sniping from the grassy knoll. You know he's somewhere bombing and sniping. Shout out to the family, man. Love, light, balance, man. We ain't doing nothing but, digging up this imposter and about to bury his ass again. That's it, Ain't nothing to it. Using his own words, though.
Using his own words.
Now that we all know what an apostle is, how you become an apostle, the ordination ritual you got to go to become an apostle, right? Now that we all know it, what are they? You had to witness Yeshua going in and out amongst the brethren. You had to witness his baptism, and you had to witness his ascension. If you did not meet one of them requirements, you can't be no apostle, right? So now that we know who the apostles are, and even including, according to Paul, he's naming the apostles. Didn't he just name Peter? Didn't he just name James? Didn't he just admit that the other apostles are in Jerusalem? He admitted that. Malaki Macabee ain't making none of this up. Paul admits this. That's why what we saying is so dangerous tonight, y'all. These his letters. I'm not making none of this up. Lick your fingers, Flip over to Galatians and read it for yourself. Now look what Paul says, man. Now that we know who the apostles are, look what he says. For such are false apostles. Pseudo. He even called the apostles pseudo, y'all. For such are false apostles. Deceitful workers. Now they're deceitful. Transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. Y'all, he ain't said nothing about no elders. He ain't say false elders, false ushers, false, deacons. Y'all, he's naming a specific office in the movement. And according to him, what the apostles at Selah? Jerusalem. But the other apostles saw I none. Except James, the master's brother. After 3 years, I went up to Jerusalem. And who he run into in Jerusalem? Apostles. All right, so if those are the apostles, even according to Paul, who are the false apostles? Who are we talking about?
So this nigga had the nerve to sit here and call the apostles of Jerusalem false and deceitful workers?
Yes. Yes, even called them workers of Satan. Y'all still think this cat man? Hey, this cat, something ain't right with dude. You know what I mean? I'm talking about before and after his so-called conversion. Before and after his so-called experience on the road to Damascus. Something ain't right with dude. Now, you can say all day, well, Mali, he ain't talking about them in Jerusalem. But how you going to say that when he just said the apostles were in Jerusalem? If he was just talking about a naked Gentile in the Greek Isles, yodeling to Homer, you dig? He would have said, false Gentiles or false. He said apostles. And if can't nobody show you, according to the Bible, what are the prerequisites of being an apostle, y'all, then they just talking emotion. We go right to Acts chapter 1. Acts chapter 1, 21 through 26. You had to know him. You had to witness him going in and out. You had to witness his baptism. You had to witness his immersion. His ascension. That's it. In other words, you had to be at day one. You had to be around from the start of this thing. And if you weren't, you just ain't no apostle. You don't got the authority to go forth and do none of that. Now, you can be a teacher and all that, and then, a believer and roll with us, but you're not this office.
Right.
You see? Let's get a deeper look. Watch this.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Nigga, Corinthians. Paul is the one writing this stuff, y'all. 2 Corinthians 11 and 4. Now, look at this. For if he that cometh, now remember, he's writing to the assembly in Corinth. He says, for if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus, whom we have not preached, him and his crew. Or if you receive another spirit, which you have not received, or another gospel, which you have not accepted, you might well burn with it. Saul admits there is another Jesus with another spirit attached to another gospel, which is different from his. So this is messianic beef, y'all. He's not, when he's writing about the apostles, he's not writing against the Sadducees in Jerusalem. He's not writing against the Pharisees. He's specifically talking about a gospel and apostles. Look at this. For I suppose I was not a whit behind the very chiefest apostles. Hold on. Saul throws them under the bus and calls them super apostles and says he is in no way inferior to the true apostles. This also proves the apostles are the ones preaching another gospel as Saul puts it. Look at this. God's word translation. Look what he's saying, 2 Corinthians 11 and 5. I don't think I'm inferior in any way to your super apostles. You see? See, look, if you a real one, you don't got to come up off down in nobody else. I don't got to bring nobody else up to be valid. I don't got to throw you under the bus so I can shine. If you a real one, you a real one. You know what I mean? You look, you gonna get it cracking anyway. It don't matter. Right. But why is he cursing whoever brings another gospel? Why he keeps saying I ain't getting mine from men? Why is he admitting that? Well, the apostles, the men are in Jerusalem. Why is he talking bad about them? Call them super apostles and all that. Look at this. Verse 12. But what I do, that I will do, that I may cut off occasion from them which desire occasion, that wherein they glory, they may be found even as weak. Saul admits he's working to undermine the apostles. Look at a different translation. Good News translation. Look what he say. I will go on doing what I am doing now in order to keep those other apostles from having any reason for boasting and saying that they work in the same way that we do. Look, he's telling you, like he's out here teaching his own thing. He ain't teaching what the apostles teach. The apostles in Jerusalem, being led by Yeshua's brother James, Yaakov. History knows him as Yaakov Hazedek, James the Just. You see, Paul admits he's what he doing. He's working to win. He against them, and y'all, he's using the word apostles. It ain't me.
Wow.
Look at this. Verse 13. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. Saul calls the apostles pseudo. That's the Greek word for false, y'all. Saul calls the apostles pseudo, false and deceitful. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. According to Saul, the apostles transform, and so does Satan, making the apostles in league or one accord with Satan. Dang, dog. Verse 15. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. Saul calls these same apostles servants or ministers of Satan and pronounces their judgment. Damn, son. Now let's go back to Galatians 2. Because now Paul, he about to tell you exactly who he got a problem with. So just in case you thinking I'm like making these dots up and connecting the wrong dots, because some people in denial right now. Everything, Mali, you making you know what I mean? You connecting the wrong dots. We are reading Paul's letters, but that ain't what he mean. You know what I mean? he said apostles, but that ain't who he talking about. He's talking about some jack-naked Gentile in the Greek Isles yodeling the Homer. No. So look, let's get into Galatians again. We go into the next chapter 2. Now, Paul about to tell you about when he went up to Jerusalem a second time. Which just don't even line up with Acts. That's the crazy part. It's like, well, which account is right? Is it Acts or is it Paul? Because according to Acts, the second time he went to Jerusalem, they damn near killed him. Yeah, that was his second time going. But look at this. So Galatians chapter 2, verse 1. Then 14 years after, I went up again to Jerusalem with Barnabas and took Titus with me also. Verse 2. And I went up by revelation. There it is again. He went up because he had a revelation to go. And I went up by revelation and communicated unto them that the gospel which I preach among the Gentiles, but privately to them which were of reputation. Well, who in Jerusalem, you feel me, is of reputation? It's the chief apostles. So he goes to Jerusalem according to Galatians chapter 2, and he explained to James, Peter, and all them, this is what I teach among the Gentiles. This is what I teach. Now look at this. He say, but privately to them which are of reputation, or the chief apostles, lest by any means I should run or had run in vain. Saul admits he preaches a different gospel from the apostles. That's what he just told you. Look, this is what I'm teaching. All right, look at this. Why else would he have to explain it to them privately? Why you got to explain to them what you teaching if they already told you what to teach?
Right.
That's Acts chapter 15, verse 29. He already told you what to teach. He already told you. Abstain from things strangled, from blood, from fornication, and from things offered to idols. That's what you're supposed to teach the Gentiles. Dietary law and to stay away from them idols. You dig? So why would he have to do any of that? You know what I mean? Give me 1 second, bro. One second, real quick.
All right, go ahead, y'all. I'll take a little quick intermission break, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah, family. You know how we do. We vibing out. Get into this lesson. You know how we do.
Mic check, brethren.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Oh, boy, man, I like that vibe, there, boy. That's right on time, man.
You know how we dizzle? Yeah, we back at it.
That's appropriate right there.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? A little son.
I like that. All right, shit. Let's get back into it, man. Going more into Paul's letters. All right. So he goes to Jerusalem again, according to him in Galatians, the 2nd chapter. He takes Barnabas and Titus with him, and then he goes in and discuss with the chief apostles what gospel that he preaches among the Gentiles, and he discusses with them privately, right? So Saul admits he preaches a different gospel from the other apostles. Why else would he have to explain it to them privately? Verse 3. But neither Titus, who was with me, being a Greek, was compelled to be circumcised. Saul's gospel, y'all, is anti-circumcision. Now watch this. What you mean he wasn't compelled to be circumcised? You teach the very thing that they was teaching. Because eventually you would have to get circumcised. You just don't got to be circumcised to join the movement or to get down and start learning. But by the time you know, man, you don't walk with them Nazarenes for 6 years and did all that. That's one of the eventual. That's one of the stages you have to go through. You know what I mean? So watch this, verse 4. And that because of false brethren. Hold on. And that because of false brethren, unawares brought in, who came in privately to spy out our liberty, which we have in Christ Jesus, that they might bring us into bondage. Paul or Saul calls the law of circumcision slavery, y'all. Bondage. Now, some people are in love. Paul was an excellent Torah teacher. Like, he called it circumcision bondage. Regardless of how you feel about it. You know what I mean? Some people say yay or nay, but his stance about it. You feel me? And as we keep reading, he get even more hostile about circumcision. You know what I mean? So Saul calls the law of circumcision bondage. He calls the apostles and the other brothers in this private meeting false. Ain't that what he said? He said false brethren. Look at this. Verse 5, Galatians 2:5. To whom we gave place by subjection, no, not for an hour, that the truth of the gospel might continue with you. Saul admits that he is not in subjection to the apostles in Jerusalem. Look at this. Amplified Bible, same verse. But we did not yield to them. Even for a moment, so that the truth of the gospel will continue to remain with you in its purity. Paul saying, man, look, we went up into Jerusalem and checked everybody about this circumcision thing the second time I went to Jerusalem. We checked everybody. And we wasn't in subjection to the chief apostles, those in reputation, the false brethren that came in. We ain't yield to them not for a moment. Look at this. This is his version of what happened when he went to Jerusalem. And he's writing this to the assembly in Galatia. Look at this. But of these, look at this. Look what he say. He say, but of these who seem to be somewhat, whatsoever they were, it maketh no matter to me. God accepteth no man's person. Y'all, he's in Jerusalem in a meeting with the chief apostles telling you they seem to be somewhat. It don't matter. God don't accept none of their person. But they who seems to be somewhat in conference added nothing to me. Saul has no respect or honor for the leaders or the apostles of the assembly in Jerusalem. He's telling you, man, I wasn't in subjection to none of that shit they was talking.
So he
not for 1 hour we didn't subject ourselves to them. Look at this. New and Living Translation, Galatians 2:6. And the leaders of the church. Who's the leaders of the church, Sheila? Reality. And the leaders of the church had nothing to add to what I was preaching. That would be James and the apostles. Who leads the church? We just read it. James, exactly. the Hebrew of Hebrews,
the bishop of bishops.
Bishop of bishops. Didn't we just read that? Okay. So, and the leaders of the church had nothing to add to what I was preaching. What I was preaching. Look at this. By the way, their reputation as great leaders made no difference to me. For God has no favor. Look at that. Y'all, he's teaching a total different gospel than what Yeshua left the apostles in Jerusalem.
And he bugging in front of them niggas. He bugging.
Yeah. Nigga, hey, Paul on her popping his shit. Look at this. Verse 7. But contrariwise, when they saw that the gospel of the uncircumcision was committed unto me, as the gospel of the circumcision was unto Peter. Saul admits again that his gospel is different from the true apostles. After all, isn't the gospel of uncircumcision and the gospel of circumcision two different gospels? Just ask the crowd. You know what I mean? If y'all think that the gospel of circumcision and the gospel of uncircumcision are those the same gospel or different gospels? Because Paul said whoever bring a different gospel than what he teaching is damned. So y'all type of one in the chat if y'all believe or think that the gospel of circumcision and the gospel of uncircumcision are the same thing. Type a 2 in the chat if you think they're two different gospels.
Right. Do that. Repeat that one more time for him.
Type a 1 in the chat if you believe or think that the gospel of uncircumcision and the gospel of circumcision is the same thing. Type a 2 in the chat if you believe or think that they're different gospels. Paul said that they preach another gospel, they damned. Other than what I preach unto you.
And notice how Paul is making himself the authority. The authority ain't Christ, it ain't God. I'm that nigga. You know what I mean?
I'm that nigga. I'm not listening to nothing y'all talking about. Nothing. See, look at Serpentio Armige, different too. Cosmo and Cal too. You know what I mean? Look at Nazarene and Sin. I just don't understand how people can't get this. It was real easy for me when I got my belief out the way. Absolutely. See, look, a 3-year-old child can tell you that these are two different gospels we talking about here.
Right.
All right. So he say, but contrariwise, when they, the leaders in Jerusalem, which would include James and Peter and them, saw that the gospel of the uncircumcision was committed unto me, as the gospel of the circumcision was unto Peter. Saul admits again that his gospel was different from the true apostles. Come on, Peter is an apostle. He has the gospel of circumcision. Paul's not an apostle. He's a self-proclaimed apostle. He teaches what's called the gospel of uncircumcision, or what he calls the gospel of Christ. Look at this. Saul admits again that his gospel is different from the true apostle. After all, isn't the gospel of uncircumcision and the gospel of circumcision two different gospels? Absolutely, they are. Look what he said in a previous chapter about the different gospels. As we said before, so I say now again, if any man, which would include the apostles in Jerusalem, y'all, if any man preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have received, let him be damned.
That's crazy.
Do you still believe Saul is not cursing the apostles? Still don't believe so, huh? All right, well, let's go down to Galatians 2:9. Look what he say. And when now he name dropping.
And that's where it all changed now when he name dropping.
Yeah, now look, he already told you James and Peter and them was apostles. He already told you that in chapter 1. Now in chapter 2, he just admitted that Peter teaches that they teach a different gospel than him. He calls it the uncircumcision versus the circumcision. All right, you still think he ain't talking about them? He didn't call them false. He didn't call them workers of Satan. All right, well, let's read. And when James, which is the leader of the movement, Yeshua's brother, Cephas and John, who seemed to be pillars, perceived the grace that was given unto me, they gave to me and Barnabas the right hands of fellowship, that we should go into the heathen, and they apostles unto the circumcision. No more guesswork about who Saul was talking about. He's dropping names. Question, is he speaking good or evil about the apostles of the Messiah? How does Saul feel about the apostles and their gospel of circumcision? Galatians 5:12. I would they were even cut off, castrated, which trouble you. Galatians 5:12. I wish those agitators, now James and them are agitators. Now Peter with his gospel of circumcision is an agitator. I wish those agitators would go so far as to what? Castrate themselves.
Wow.
So no matter how you feel about circumcision, you know what I mean, as someone who pushes Torah or the Bible, you never gonna let a judgment come out your mouth and say, man, look, the hell with circumcision, man. You might as well cut off your love muscle and your testes. You might as well cut off your love muscle and your testes. That's what castration is, y'all. It ain't just the removing of the love muscle. So that's how Paul feels about the gospel of circumcision. Whoever teaching it should cut their nuts and their love muscle off. And these are Paul's letters again, not mine, y'all.
And like you say, if you just got a message, you know what I mean? If you got a message in the gospel, why you got to be so hostile about it?
Yeah, just say, I don't look at that the same way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Everybody see things different. You know what I mean? But Paul, y'all, is hostile toward these brothers. He called them Satan. He called them deceitful. He called them fake, super apostles. Said he ain't in subjection to them. All right? Now look at this. Now look what happens with Paul and Peter, Galatians 2:11. But when Peter was coming to Antioch, I withstood him to the face because he was to be blamed. You still think he ain't talking about the apostles? It's evident by now who Saul is cursing. He's dropping names on whoever he has a problem with. Notice we never heard Peter's side of this argument. Don't worry, I'm about to show it. Verse 12, Galatians 5:12. For before that certain came from James, see, Paul is admitting James the one sending men out there. James is the one sending men to check Paul. You ain't teaching what I told you to teach. You ain't teaching what I told you to teach. For before that certain came from James, he, Peter, did eat with the Gentiles. But when they were come, he withdrew and separated himself, fearing them which were of the circumcision. Saul admits that James, the brother of Yeshua, is the one sending other apostles out against him. In saying this, he is acknowledging James's authority in the early Messiah movement. Saul also claims that Peter is violating dietary law by eating with the Gentiles. Look at this, verse 13. And the other Yahudim, Jews, disassembled likewise with him, insomuch that Barnabas was also carried away with their dissimulation or hypocrisy. Bro, he just called them hypocrites. He didn't call them hypocrites, deceitful, fake, workers of Satan, super apostles. Huh? Threw them under the bus saying God ain't got no favorites. Who is he? I ain't learned nothing from them. Y'all, this is what he's saying. And now he's telling you exactly the apostles he got a problem with. We ain't got to make this stuff up. He's saying it. You know what I mean? And now he just called them hypocrites. Dissimulation. Saul calls Peter, Barnabas, James, and the men he sent against him hypocrites. Verse 14. But when I saw that they walk not uprightly according to the truth of the gospel. Remember, his gospel is the gospel of uncircumcision, y'all. Right? When I saw that they walk not uprightly according to the truth of the gospel, I said unto Peter before them all, if you, being a Jew, live after the manner of Gentiles, and not as do the Jews, why compare you to Gentiles to live as do the Jews? Saul throws Peter under the bus even further and claims he lives and acts like a lawless Gentile heathen. Remember, he's writing this to the assembly in Galatia, saying, I punked Peter. I checked him to his face. And even Barnabas and them was carried away with their hypocrisy. When certain men got sent up here from James, Peter started acting all, sideways and funny. See that? And then he goes on to say, Peter, you live like one of them. You don't even keep no commandments of Yeshua. You live like a Gentile. If you, being a Jew, live after the manner of Gentile. He said you live like a Gentile. You ain't about none of this Yeshua movement you talking about.
Wow.
This is Paul's version of what happened when they all was in Antioch. You never hear Peter's side of the story, though. See this? Look at this. Don't forget, Saul was writing to all of these different assemblies trying to save his ministry and defend his apostleship. Now let's go look at Peter's response to Saul of Tarsus and his false claim that Peter lives lawless. All right, Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, anti-Nicene or pre-Nicene Christian Library. All right, right here. What we get? Right here, bro. Look at this, man. See? Now, remember, Paul had a vision on the way to Damascus, right?
Right.
And his whole vision about who Jesus is based off this vision.
That's right.
Right? Now, in the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, there's a character by the name of Simon Magus who some say is Paul. Some say is Paul because his very claims is the very claims that Paul makes. Now look what Peter's saying, because obviously Paul is against Peter according to Paul. Paul said, I checked Peter in front of everybody, right? So he opposes Peter, called him a hypocrite, said he lived like a Gentile, right? Now look at this. Chapter 19, opposition to Peter, unreasonable. If then, so remember, Paul's whole claim to apostleship is that Jesus appeared to him, right? Now look at this. Peter says, if then our Yeshua appeared to you in a vision, Paul made himself known to you and spoke to you, it was as one who is enraged with an adversary. Boy, look at this. And this is the, go ahead, talk to me.
That's crazy right there, brother.
Y'all still think that was Yeshua the Nazarene that appeared to Paul? No. You've been fooled.
Wow.
You've been fooled. Peter's saying, look, if you against me, then you are clearly, whatever is inspiring you, you know what I mean, is clearly we're not talking about the same person. It's impossible. And we just read, according to Paul's own words, that he's against Peter, James, John, Cephas, Barnabas, all the apostles.
Facts.
So now there's a character just like Paul who's saying Jesus appeared to him and gave him authority to teach, but he teaches something different than Peter. So now Peter responds. This is in the Nazarene literature.
Okay.
If then our Jesus appeared to you in a vision, made himself known to you and spoke to you, it was as one who was enraged with an adversary. And this is the reason why it was through visions and dreams or through revelations. And Paul says revelation, right? Through revelations that were from without that he spoke to you. But can anyone be rendered fit for instruction through apparitions? He like, how you can't be, you know what I mean, a solid teacher verified just because you popped up and said you had a vision?
Nigga seen the apparition and caught the goddamn. Now he's an apostle from seeing the apparition and shit.
Yeah. So he say, and if you will say it is possible, then I ask, why did our teacher abide and discourse a whole year to those who were awake? He was like, if that's all it take, then why was Yeshua teaching? He like, bro, you ain't making no sense. You know what I mean? You ain't making no sense at all. Here, Pumpkin. You ain't making no sense at all. Go close that door. Look at this. And he said, why did our teacher abide and discourse a whole year to those who were awake? And how are we to believe your word, Paul, when you tell us that he appeared to you? And how did he appear to you when you entertain opinions contrary to his teaching? Yeah, because you against the apostles. Nigga, how's you? So he's saying you against us. How are you teaching something that our master taught you? But you against us, who he picked.
Right.
But if you were seen and taught by him and became his apostle for a single hour, became a who? An apostle. So this cat Peter is battling, is running around telling people he had a vision of Jesus and that he's an apostle. This is Paul Peter responding to.
Oh man. Okay.
But if you were seen and taught by him and became his apostle for a single hour, proclaim his utterances, Paul. Right? Y'all notice Paul never quotes the Gospels. He don't never quote Jesus. Like when?
Hold on. So you telling me that in the epistles of Paul, he don't quote no scriptures of Jesus?
He don't quote no scriptures of Jesus at all.
That's a red flag right there.
He ain't on record quoting no Gospels or none of that. And for those of us that's in the know, we know because Paul was writing before. Paul's letters actually historically came out before the Gospels were ever inked. So it makes sense. He wouldn't be quoting the Gospels.
Okay.
He wouldn't be quoting the sayings of Jesus.
Everything
he's telling you is based off his quote unquote revelation.
That's crazy.
You've been hoodwinked. You've been bamboozled. You've been led astray. Come on, man. It should start unraveling for everybody. Like, dang, dog, that's crazy. Look at this. He say again, but if you were seen and taught by him and became his apostle for a single hour, proclaim his utterances, interpret his sayings, love his apostles. Do it sound like Paul loved the apostles? No. Look at this. Contend not with me who companied with him, for in direct opposition to me, who am a firm rock, the foundation of the church, you now stand. If you were not opposed to me, you would not accuse me and revile the truth proclaimed by me. See, in other words, Peter's saying, look, whatever Paul talking about in Galatians, if he was of the truth, he would know better than to speak against one that Yeshua ordained. He would know better.
Right.
See, he said right here, he said, if you were not opposed to me, you would not accuse me and revile the truth I proclaim by me, in order that I may not be believed when I state that I myself have heard with my own ears from the master, as if I were evidently a person that was condemned and in bad reputation. He's like, look, you don't even know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? But if you say that I am condemned, you bring an accusation against God who revealed the Messiah to me. And you inveigh against him who pronounced me blessed on account of the revelation. But if indeed you really wish to work in the cause of truth, learn first of all from us. You got to come home. You got to check in. And you got to teach what we teach. It's already been set up. What do you do? He said right here, learn first of all from us what we have learned from him. and becoming a disciple of the truth, become a fellow worker with us. He's like, you can become a fellow worker with us, but it's protocol to this. Look what
he's telling Paul that.
Yeah. It's protocol to this. You want to really get down, you got to get initiated. You got to get down. You know what I mean? You got to teach what we tell you to teach. Now look at this. How does Saul feel about the Nazarene apostles' dietary law? Because the Nazarenes, y'all, they didn't eat no flesh, they didn't taste no blood, none of that. These brothers was lifelong herbivores, plant-based, or for life. I'm talking about Yeshua, John the Baptist, James the Just, they daddies, they mamas, all of them. They was a branch of the Essenes. And the Essenes didn't eat flesh. You know what I mean? So how does Paul feel about this? Look at this. How does Saul feel about the Nazarene apostles' dietary law? Amplified Bible, 1 Corinthians 10 and 25. Regarding meat offered to idols. Look at this, y'all. Eat anything that is sold in the meat market without asking any questions for the sake of your conscience. Paul just told you can go eat a hog's rectum if you want to.
That's crazy.
Come on, man. Does that sound like dietary law? Does that sound like, where is that at in the Torah?
Right.
It's since Paul is so much of a great Torah teacher, where is this idea of you can eat whatever is sold at the slaughterhouse, bro, and don't ask no questions for conscience sake? And it's regarding meat offered to idols. So Paul is saying you can eat meat offered to idols. Go on over there, buy that gator meat, eat it, and don't ask no questions. You see that? Now watch this. Watch this. Now, y'all, again, y'all, what makes this so damaging is these are Paul's words. I ain't making none of this up. And sometimes I may go to a different version so the English will read more modern for you. You understand? But I ain't making none of this up. Paul just told you that you can eat anything sold at the meat market without asking any questions for the sake of your conscience. But how does James and them eat? Look at this. Acts 15 and 13. This is when Paul came up to Jerusalem, right? And after they had held their peace, James answered, saying, men and brethren, hearken unto me. Verse 29, that you abstain from meats offered to idols. That you abstain from meats offered to idols. James gave Paul a charge. You're going to be teaching about this. You're going to be teaching in this mission about my brother. This is what you teach amongst the Gentiles. And y'all, they all had the same mission to teach. It wasn't like Paul taught his own thing among the Gentiles and then everybody else taught what James said. No, it was one protocol. Whether you was home, whether you was Judean, or whether you was of the other nations that believed in the movement, it was one protocol. You understand? So James is telling Paul right here in Acts 15:29. He's telling Paul, that you abstain from meats offered to idols. James commands Saul to follow the same orders that he is supposed to teach the Gentiles. How does Saul respond to the doctrine he has been commanded to preach and live by? Did Paul teach what he was told to teach? That's all you got to ask yourself. James and them, the chief apostles who Yeshua left in charge, said, abstain from them meats offered to idols. You dig? And if you don't even know what that is, according to the Torah, you shouldn't be touching no dead flesh with your finger. You don't even know. When I ask people, what is meats offered to idols according to Torah? According to Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, what is that?
That's interesting.
You see, because that's what James is putting on Paul. Look, what you teaching the Gentiles, you got to live by it too. Abstain from meats offered to idols. Or surely if you go to a Gentile meat market or a grocery store, to go buy you some ground chuck, surely that animal was not slaughtered according to how the Torah says slaughtered.
Right.
So that means it's offered to a devil or an idol. Surely it's offered to some type of pagan deity or god up in Ephesus, like Diana of Ephesus. Paul saying you can go right up in there and eat it. It don't matter. James say abstain from meats offered to idols. It's not the same gospel, y'all. It's not. Look what Paul says. James says abstain from meats offered to idols. Did Paul teach this? 1 Corinthians 10, 23 to 25. He says all things are lawful for me. All things are lawful for me. That ain't in the Torah nowhere.
Right.
Lawful means Torah. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not. All things are not lawful that for you. Where are you getting this from? What the hell is this written in? All things are lawful for you. By Saul claiming all things is lawful for him, he is saying he is free from James's command given to him in Jerusalem. Look at this, verse 25. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles that eat, asking no question for conscience sake. Saul boldly tells the assembly in Corinth that they are free to eat whatever they desire. Good News Translation. You think a game, but you think a plant? Look at this. Good News Translation. 1 Corinthians 10 and 25. Look at this reality. Selah Shalom. You are free to eat anything sold in the meat market.
Wow.
Y'all, that's chitlins.
That's crazy.
That's gator meat. That's hog, maw, whatever the hell that is. You are free to eat anything sold in the meat market. Is that what James told him to do? That's all you got to do. Go to 1 Corinthians 10 and 25. Go to Acts 15 and 29. Is Paul teaching what James told him to teach? The answer is no. He's not.
That's crazy. You said eat anything.
Boy, go get you some of that gator back over there, boy.
Right. Get some of that pig chitlin.
Go get some of that squid. hey, look at this. So you are free to eat anything sold in the meat market. That man, come on, bro. That ain't in Torah nowhere. Without asking any questions because of your conscience. It's all up towards the 1 Corinthians 10 and 25. But what did James say? Again, that you abstain from meats offered to idols. James, the brother of Jesus, Acts 15 and 29. Is that the same? Is eat anything sold in the meat market and abstain from meats offered to idols? Is that the same message? Put a 1 up in the chat. If abstaining from meats offered to idols and eat any damn thing you buy up at the grocery store, put a 1 up in the chat if that's the same thing. Put a 2 up in the chat if they're teaching 2 separate things. Come on, man. We can slow it down. There ain't no thing. Easy work. Easy work. Paul telling himself.
That boy Paul going off.
Yeah, he telling himself. And then later on, he tried to clean it up. But then his understanding of what meats offered to idols is ain't what the Torah says. He go on and say, well, if they tell you it's offered to an idol, don't eat it for the sake of the person sitting next to you. No, that's not how you determine if meat is offered to idols according to Torah, buddy.
Right.
No, it got to be sacrificed and prepared a certain way. If it's not prepared like that, it's considered offered to devils, idols. You see? Yeah, everybody see. Come on, man. Abstain from meats offered to idols. Concerning meats offered to idols, eat anything sold in the meat market. Nah, that is not the same thing. That's 2 different messages. So look at this. It is clear what Saul of Tarsus feels about the Nazarene dietary law. How does a true apostle such as Peter feel about the food restrictions? Let's see. Back to the Nazarene literature. Oh, man, they got my picture ain't on there. That's weak. That's weak. Let me see if they let me.
I went through that same shit before, yo.
Let me see if they let me. But Peter on her teach what James told Paul to teach. Peter actually taught that.
Mm.
He taught. Let me see if I can re-upload, like refresh the page.
So Peter was sticking to the script.
Yeah. It's all in the Nazarene literature. He let
Okay.
it be known. He like, bro, I don't eat no dead flesh. None. You know what I mean? He said, I eat bread, olives, you know what I mean? I have a few potted herbs. You know what I mean? And then I got pictures on here on how James got down too. That's crazy, man. These pictures ain't on here. Let me scroll down some more, bro. Let me scroll down just a little more. Hopefully, dismiss that. Hopefully, hold on. Y'all bear with me for a second. That's messed up. Come on. Okay, we just did that right there. Come on, Peter. Ah, that's weak. That's messed up. That's messed up. Now here, but I broke it down though at the bottom of the picture. It says, as anyone can see, Peter, a true apostle, doesn't teach to eat whatever is sold at the meat markets. Peter actually teaches not to eat dead flesh. Chewing on an animal sandwich is one and the same as eating at the table of devils. That's what he reveals in the Nazarene literature. And then right here is supposed to be in his diet. I got pictures of all of it, y'all. That's messed up. And I got a picture of James's diet. Let's look at James, the brother of Messiah, and how he ate. Source, not seen in post, not seen father, second series. That's hella weak, bro.
Man.
The Apostle Peter didn't write the book of 2 Peter. Try again. Oh man, they got all my little pictures off here, bro. Man. Yeah, that's messed up. I got them all in my computer too. I just got to go back through and find them.
Right. I went through that same shit. I'm like, why they disappear when the other one's still there?
Yeah, how was all my pictures? Like, you feel me?
Right.
But right here, I break them down though. It says, based off the ancient testimonials of Jerome, 4th century of the Common Era, and Agesippus, 1st and 2nd century, James, the brother of Jesus, was a Nazarite and a lifelong vegetarian. He didn't chew on animals, drink wine, strong drink, or allow a razor to touch his head. The Gospel of the Nazarene says the same thing. Peter the Apostle, according to the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, homily 12, chapter 6, was a vegetarian also. Now we know who Saul of Tarsus is calling weak, the true apostles. Remember, they were lifelong vegetarians. Look at this. And that's according to church history. Look at this. Look what Paul says in Romans 14:2, Amplified Bible. One man's faith permits him to eat everything. What faith is that? For sure, it ain't Torah. One man's faith permits him to eat everything, while the weak believer eats only vegetables. He called them weak. If you plant-based according to Paul, you're weak. He said, while the weak believer eats only vegetables to avoid eating ritually unclean meat or something previously considered unclean. Paul of Tarsus, Romans 14:2. So you see how he feels. He said, eat whatever you want. And if you only eating vegetables, you're a weak believer.
Wow.
But the apostles, that's all they eat.
Wow. He wilding. Paul wilding, yo.
Yeah, he wild as hell. Now we know who Saul of Tarsus was talking about when he said they teach doctrines of devils that they command to abstain from meats. The true apostles. Who else told Paul to abstain from meats? James did. He the one, look at this, that ye abstain from meats offered to idols. Look at this. Paul was already commanded to abstain from meats offered to idols by the chief apostle, James the Just. Let's see what Paul says in his letter to Timothy, 1 Timothy 4:1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Look at this, verse 2. Speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. And don't forget, Saul already called James and Peter and those with them hypocrites. He already called them hypocrites. Look at this, 1 Timothy 4:3. Forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats. He called it doctrine. He said, if you teaching to abstain from meats, that's a doctrine of the devil. Who are you talking to? Who you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got to ask yourself. Well, who told you to abstain from meats, Paul? James did. Oh, okay. James did. Okay, then what? Then who are you talking about saying that is a doctrine of the devil?
Mm.
Who are you talking about? Because you've been told to abstain from meats and to teach that amongst the Gentiles you teaching.
Right. He ain't even going by that.
Forbidden to marry and commanding to abstain from meats which God have created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. So Christians use this verse to say they got a right to eat pig meat. Look at this. And look who they using to justify eating pig meat. Paul. If you come in with a doctrine that says abstain from meats, like Creator Gang, like the Essenes, Nazarenes, and all them, the Nazarites and all them, salute to the tribes. You understand?
That's right.
According to Paul, is a doctrine of the devil. Also, according to Jerome, Hegesippus, and the Nazarene Gospels, Yahshua, his brother James, and his cousin John the Baptist were all lifelong Nazarites, y'all. No chewing on animals, no strong drink, no wine, no haircuts. So imagine, I salute the Nazi dreadhead man. Shout out to the roster. Shout out to our West Indian Caribbean brothers and sisters, because that's what these brothers. If you want to imagine what these ancient Nazarites look like, they look just like your modern Caribbean folk.
Right, the roster niggas with the long locks.
Yeah, and then Sela explain to the people, boy, a real roster boy will get on your top over there chewing on some flesh. Them niggas don't be playing that.
Yeah, real strict. So you can imagine that type of strictness and rebellious nature within that hostile environment in Jerusalem and people like that.
Yeah, man. Come on now. So you got these brothers that sticking to the code.
Right.
Based off history and based off the other literature. All of them. Everybody rock like this.
Right.
Everybody. You know what I mean? So that's just what it is, man. Now look at this right here. Look at this right here. It said, now we know who Saul was talking about when he claimed long hair was a disgrace to a man. The true apostle. Y'all didn't know Paul was against the long hair too. He was against the Nazi dreadhead man. He was against all that.
Right. I thought he was a Benjamite though.
Yeah, like what happened? Look at this. New and Living Translation. Isn't it obvious that it's disgraceful for a man to have long hair? Come on, bro. Paul calling these niggas Satan, false apostles, fake brothers, pseudo, throwing them up under the bus, calling them hypocrites, damning them, telling them to cut off their love muscle and remove their testes. You dig? Not nigga telling you can eat whatever the hell you want. You ain't got to listen to them. Call that a doctrine of the devil if it got something to do with abstaining from meats. And now he owned the brother's hair. Well, that means he talking about everybody, because if they lifelong Nazarites, all them brothers had long locks.
Right.
Who is Paul really against?
That's crazy.
Come on, he tell you by name who he against. What the hell's wrong? Look at this. Paul says, isn't it obvious that it's disgraceful for a man to have long hair? Paul of Tarsus, 1 Corinthians 11 and 14. Round 3, ball game, backdrop. Saul of Tarsus and his band of misfits, the false apostles in Ephesus. If y'all getting some understanding, we almost done. Y'all drop a 1,000 in the chat, man. Shout out to Black Royal Family TV, man. Right on for coming through. Allow me to come on through and build with the family. See live. My brother Reality.
This is scholarly level information we dealing with here, man. Like I told y'all, this is scholarly level information. This ain't no light work. This ain't no lick your finger scholarship, like my brother say. But that's good how you clearly distinguishing the difference between the hostility between Paul and the disciples, and the difference and the arrogance of Paul speaking against the brothers.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Paul got some nerve, yo.
Yeah, he on one, like on some real, like he on one. Dude ain't all the way right, man.
Right, that part.
Dude ain't all the way right. And if anybody think, you know what I mean, oh, dang, you know, again, Mally, you connecting the wrong dots. See, like, if you can take that off this, let me see if y'all can do it. Take that off the screen real quick. Let me show the people something, man.
No, you right.
Just in case y'all think, you know, like shelf game ain't, you know what I mean? I stand on the shoulders of some intellectual giants. What is y'all talking about? Shout out to the OG Robert Eisenman or Robert Essene man. Look at the name of his book, James, the brother of Jesus and the Dead Sea Scrolls. Look at the bottom of it though. The historical James, Paul the enemy.
Wow.
And Jesus' brothers as apostles, bro. Ain't nobody playing no games, man. Yeah, man, this book over 1,000 pages. What are you talking about? Like, bro, we done put this deal together so thorough.
Right.
Man. There's another one right here, Operation Messiah. Boy, that looked like an old Pauline Negro. That boy looked shady as a mug right there. Operation Messiah. It says St. Paul, Roman intelligence, and the birth of Christianity, boy.
Damn.
What you think I'm playing? Man, nobody playing with y'all, man. Like, look, we do this.
Book gang, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like we do this. We not playing. That's the problem. Everybody been playing with you. We not playing.
Right. Big facts. You know what I mean? That's crazy how you dissected it to that degree, because a lot of people that read Paul's writings, read Paul's epistles, and never put two and two together about who Paul is talking about as far as these other apostles.
Yeah, that's true, bro. And the crazy part about it is because they never trip. Well, who is he talking about? Who are the apostles? You know what I mean? Once you understand who the apostles are, then it's like, well, who he calling false apostles?
Right.
If they the only apostles.
Right.
Who the hell he talking about? Dang. Just so happened they lifelong vegetarians, got long hair, teach shop stained from meats. You know what I mean? Still teach aspects of circumcision. Everything you got a problem with.
Right.
You dig? And they telling you to abstain from that flesh, and you over here talking about some eat whatever the hell you find in the meat markets.
That's crazy. Totally going against the grain.
Yeah, you're going totally against what it is, man. You know what I mean? And then when it comes down to circumcision, your judgment is to remove the love muscle and the testes, to remove it. You know what I mean? Come on, bro. You can't tell me that's right. There ain't nobody in their right mind to tell you that's right. That's wrong.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Even if you thought differently about circumcision, you know what I mean? Like, dang, my cup of tea. You feel me? Everybody got a right to look at something different or change their perspective about something. But bro, you coming in damning brothers. Y'all teach a different gospel. Nigga, I'm never in subjection to y'all. God ain't got no favorites. Y'all hypocrites. You're damned. Different gospel. This is what I teach. The gospel of uncircumcision.
Can you imagine you in the front of the brother of goddamn Jesus? The nigga brother, and you telling him, I got basically more authority. The spirit of your brother came to me and basically told me this is how we gonna run it.
Man, that's crazy.
That don't even make no sense.
If somebody said that to y'all today, y'all gonna be looking at him with a jaundiced eye. Man, if you don't get your ass on somewhere with all that. So y'all look, trip off how scary this is. Billions of souls that follow Christianity and Messianic Hebrew Israelite isms is following Paul.
Facts.
Or have followed Paul.
Facts.
That's who they following.
And the crazy thing about that is people forget, he was persecuting the Israelites before he had to change your heart. So he was persecuting niggas before, had to change your heart, and now he running his mouth.
Hey man, to me, I ain't gonna lie to you. It like all this is agent type behavior.
Right.
Like, bro, you already was our enemy, our top op before your so-called spiritual experience. And then out of nowhere, you just teaching us about this experience as if that trump what we doing.
Right. Exactly.
Then what your little ragu vision don't trump what Yeshua told us to do.
Exactly.
You feel me? And then y'all, he's super apostles, fake brothers, fake nigga called them workers of Satan. And he's using the word apostle, y'all. So just all you gotta do is slow down, just read them and say, dang, he got a pro. Who was he talking about? And then he tell you who he talking about. James, Peter, John, Barnabas. You feel me? He called them hypocrites, all that. All of it.
That's heavy,
they don't even go this deep. That's what I'm saying. They scared to even look this deep because now you got to question what it is you run around here calling faith.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Y'all, you basing your salvation based off the works of a man who never met Yeshua. A man crazy. After that experience was totally against what the apostles was doing. Totally.
You basing your apostleship based off an apparition.
Yes. An apparition. Share that screen again with me. See, like we almost done, brother.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it get real, man. It get real. And a lot of cats that really don't want to be real with themselves.
That's right.
Now, let's get into this. Watch this.
Go ahead.
I got more. Saul of Tarsus and his band of misfits, the false apostles in Ephesus. Oh my God, bro. Now in Revelations, Jesus is quoted rebuking somebody running around here calling himself an apostle, and he ain't one. See, it's all over but the shout. Look at this. Paul, an apostle of Jesus Christ by the will of God, to the saints which are at Ephesus and to the faithful in Christ Jesus. This is Ephesians 1:1. So Saul claiming to be an apostle in his letters to the Ephesians. See that? Contemporary English version. 2 Timothy 1:15. You know that everyone in Asia has turned against me, especially Phygelius and Hermogenes. Saul of Tarsus, 2 Timothy 1:15. Saul admits he caught smoke from the assemblies in Asia. Remember that. Remember the location. He said it. Everyone in Asia has turned against me. Everyone in Asia has turned against me. This is what Paul is saying.
Wow.
Why? You see, like ain't nobody really slowing down and really examining what dude talking about. You just so caught up in a religious high. You know what I mean?
Right.
You ain't even tripping out what dude. Well, why everybody in Asia minded and turned against this man?
Right. The whole goddamn country.
The whole continent, damn country done turned against this nigga. Saul admits he caught smoke from the assemblies in Asia. They realized Saul and his crew were false apostles, y'all. Look at this. English Standard Version. Saul of Tarsus, 2 Corinthians 1:8. Look what he say. For we do not want you to be unaware, brothers, of the affliction experienced in Asia. For we were so utterly burdened beyond our strength that we despaired of life itself. Saul, in his own words, the assemblies in Asia were hostile toward his gospel. New and Living Translation. And what value was there in fighting wild beasts? Those people of where? Ephesus. He called the people of Ephesus wild beasts. Ephesus is in Asia. Asia Minor.
He wilding, bro. He called them niggas wild beasts.
Oh, them niggas wild, man. What value was there in fighting the wild beasts, those people of Ephesus, if there will be no resurrection from the dead? If there is no resurrection, let us feast and drink, for tomorrow we die. All right, now remember, he say off his own mouth, y'all, he caught smoke in Asia. Everyone turned against him, did he not? Okay, let's go right here. The book of Revelation 2:1. John, to the 7 churches which are where? Asia. Grace be unto you and peace from him which is, which was, and which is to come, and from the 7 spirits which are before his throne. Revelation 1:4. John the Apostle. Notice the book of Revelation is addressed to the 7 churches in Asia, the same area Paul caught all that smoke. Okay, well, what's the message to the angel or the assembly in Ephesus? Look what they did. Revelation 2:1. Unto the angel of the church of Ephesus write, these things saith he that holdeth the 7 stars in his right hand, who walk in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks. Don't forget, Paul called the people of the assembly in Ephesus wild beasts that he was fighting with. Didn't he say that? He called the people in Ephesus wild beasts. Well, there's a message to the assembly in Ephesus in Revelation 2:1. Paul said they wild beasts. All of Asia is turned against me, and the people in Ephesus are considered wild beasts. I've been fighting with them. Watch this. Verse 2. I know your works and your labor and your patience, and how you cannot bear them which are evil. And you have tried them which say they are apostles and are not. And has found them liars. Y'all, there was a trial in Ephesus about Saul and his crew. And the final verdict was they were false apostles and liars. Notice the assembly is not rebuked, but actually commended for their final judgment. So let me get this straight. Paul admits that he was fighting with the people of Ephesus and called them wild beasts. Ephesus is in Asia Minor. Paul said all in Asia turned against him. So much so that they didn't even like life no more. Now we go over to Revelations, and there's a message to the assembly in Ephesus, who Paul would have been writing to. The book of Ephesians would have been sent to this assembly, this church in Ephesus. Right? Look at this. Acts chapter 19. Let's go show some more of Paul in Ephesus. And it came to pass that while Apollos was at Corinth, Paul, having passed through the upper coast, came to Ephesus, and finding certain disciples. Saul comes to Ephesus and finds disciples or believers already in the Messianic movement. See that? When he get there, it's already believers there. Verse 2. And he said unto them, have you received the Holy Ghost? Look at this, Selah. Have you received the Holy Ghost since you believe? And they said unto him, we have not so much as heard whether there be any Holy Ghost.
So hold up. So these believers are believers of Paul?
Believers of Yeshua. They already believe in the movement when Paul comes skipping through there.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Which means they've been taught by the apostles.
Right. Got you.
They see he came through there and already found believers. So Paul asked them, have you received the Holy Ghost since you believe? They said, we have not so much as heard whether there be any Holy Ghost. They're like, what is you talking about? We've been up here living based off what the apostles been teaching.
Wow.
Verse 3. And he said unto them, unto what then were ye baptized? And they said, unto John's baptism. Oh, hold on. That's the same baptism Yeshua got baptized in.
Right.
They were baptized under the same order as Yeshua and the apostles. Don't forget, one of the requirements for being an apostle is you had to witness Yeshua get baptized by his cousin John. These disciples were already believers in the message of Messiah, and they had already been baptized. Saul convinces them to do another baptism than the one that was good enough for the Messiah and his disciples. Hold on. And all the men were about 12. Hold on, man. This nigga Paul ended up getting 12 disciples too. He ended up so he basically came through the spot in Ephesus, you dig, and took 12 disciples with him.
Trying to be like the real Yeshua.
Ain't that something? Look at this. These messianic believing disciples accepted Saul's version of Christ or Saul's gospel. Notice these disciples are 12 in number. And he went into the synagogue. He's in Ephesus. The church of Ephesus is a synagogue. And he went into the synagogue and spake boldly for the space of 3 months, disputing and persuading the things concerning the kingdom of God. The synagogue in Ephesus, or the church in Ephesus, is where Saul goes and argues his gospel. That's where he arguing at. And version of Christ for 3 months. But when diverse were hardened and believed not, but spake evil that way before the multitude, he departed from them and separated the disciples, disputing daily in the school of one Tyrannus. After 3 months of arguing and trying to prove his gospel, Saul left the church or synagogue of Ephesus and took 12 disciples with him. You think that's a coincidence? English Standard Version, Acts 19:19. But when some became stubborn and continued in unbelief, speaking evil of the way before the congregation, he withdrew from them and took the disciples with him. This nigga done made his own disciples, reasoning daily in the hall of Tyrannus. Who were some of the men Saul of Tarsus had with him that he called apostles? Revelation 2:2 says it was more than one false apostle. Let's see. Revelation 2:2. I know all the things you do. I have seen your hard work and your patient endurance. I know you don't tolerate evil people. You have examined the claims of those who say they are apostles but are not. You have discovered they are liars. Revelation 2:2. All right, well, let's go see who else with Paul who got the nerve to self-proclaim themselves as apostles. Look, I'm surgical with this, Jake.
Hey, that nigga,
surgical with that.
He got 12 apostles himself. That's crazy.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, something ain't right with dude, man. I keep trying to tell everybody, something is not right with dude. Come on, man. Now, look at this. Look at this. This letter is from, and this is right here is 1 Thessalonians 1:1, New and Living Translation. This letter is from Paul, Silas, and Timothy. Hold on. We know what it takes to be an apostle, right? You had to be a day one, right? You had to witness Yeshua going in and out amongst the brethren. You had to witness his baptism. You had to witness his ascension or resurrection, right? You had to be a witness of this. If not, you're not an apostle. Paul didn't witness this, nor did Silas or Timothy. So Paul just going around making disciples, putting apostle name badges on people. He done slapped you with the sticky name badge. You an apostle now, Silas.
Right.
You an apostle now, Timothy. This letter is from Paul, Silas, and Timothy. We are writing to the church in Thessalonica, to you who belong to God the Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. May God give you grace and peace. 1 Thessalonians 1:1. Saul of Tarsus, Silas, and Timothy, the false apostles. Let's go show the very next chapter over. He calls them the apostles. 1 Thessalonians 2:6. Amplified Bible. Nor did we seek glory and honor from people, neither from you nor from anyone else, though as apostles of Christ. Though as apostles of Christ, we had the power to assert our authority. 1 Thessalonians 2:6.
Interesting.
Now remember, Saul of Tarsus, Silas, and Timothy. Notice Saul of Tarsus calls himself Silas and Timothy apostles. Because they the ones that wrote 1 Thessalonians 1:1. Saul or Paul, Silas, and Timothy. We go to the very next chapter. He say, neither from you nor from anyone else, though as apostles of Christ, we, who was with Paul, Silas, and Timothy, we had the power to assert our authority.
Wow.
Oh, man.
You
can't make it up, bro.
These niggas claiming their own authority.
Come on, man. Self-proclaimed.
Self-proclaimed.
Self-proclaimed. Yeah, he's
self-proclaimed apostles.
Yeah. And don't forget his vision. His vision about Jesus, his encounter about Jesus, that story got holes in it. He don't know if they all fell to the ground or he fell, or if he only heard the voice or they all heard the voice. He don't know whether he coming or going. Then he get up and go to Arabia, then come back to Damascus before he even go to Jerusalem. Come on, man. You gotta, you know what I mean? It don't take nothing. You just gotta step away from it and just look at it objectively. Saul of Tarsus and his Roman and Herodian connections. Romans 16:11. Salute Herodian, my kinsmen. Greet them to be of the household of Narcissus, which are in the Lord. Romans 16:11. Saul of Tarsus. Notice Saul is a relative of Herod the Great, the imposter Edomite king of Judah. Now, when I debated the Zohar, y'all can put him in a blender. He tried to say, oh, this was just a Christian.
Right. A certain
No,
Christian.
a certain Christian. No, genius. There ain't nobody in Bible with the name Herod that ain't related to the Herodian dynasty.
Right.
There's nobody. You can't name nobody in Bible with Herod in their name that's not related to them. Paul just said what? Those his kinsmen. You know what I mean? You might say, well, hold on, man. I hope these pictures come up. That'll be crazy if they don't. That's weak.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's hella weak. I don't know what happened.
Damn.
But what I was doing was showing the what I do was show I went and showed a parallel Bible, New Testament. You know what I mean? And it showed Paul straight said those his relatives, those his kinfolk. He's related to them. You know what I mean?
Right. He just ain't saying that's my friend and shit.
Yeah. Not only is Saul of Tarsus the bloodline relative of Herod the Great, he also had Roman citizenship. Did any of the apostles have Roman citizenship? No. Did Yeshua have Roman citizenship? No. Acts 22, 25 through 29. And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned? When the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, take heed what you do, for this man is a Roman. Paul's a Roman, huh? Paul's a Roman. He's a Roman related to the Herodians.
Right, exactly.
He has Roman citizenship. Then the chief captain came and said to him, tell me, art thou a Roman? Paul said, yeah. And the chief captain answered, with a great sum I obtained out of this freedom. So the chief captain, who got a charge over 2,000 boots, said, I bought my Roman citizenship. It took me, I had to earn this. What Paul say? And Paul said, but I was freeborn. Paul said, I didn't have to earn my citizenship. I was born in it. I was born in it. Come on, bro. He said, I was born free. I ain't never been no slave. I was freeborn. Then straightway they departed from him, which should have examined him. And the chief captain also was afraid after he knew that he was a Roman and because he had bound him. Dang, so how can Saul of Tarsus claim Israelite heritage, have Herod the Great as an ancestor, and be a free-born Roman citizen? Please come up. That's absolute. That's crazy. So these pictures show the process of how the Herodians were born with Roman citizenship. Right here it says, as we see, Saul is a bloodline relative of Antipater, the father of Herod the Great. This would explain why Saul told the captain of the guard that he was a free-born Roman citizen. To be free-born means you didn't have to earn citizenship and that your parents were both born free.
Right.
The privilege is solely based on the actions of your ancestors. Then I had the wiki link on there to show how Romans got citizenship. That ain't on there.
Right.
So, but again, I break it down at the bottom of the pictures. It says, in order for Saul to be a free-born Roman with citizenship means that both his parents had blood relations to Antipater, the father of Herod the Great. Let's look at Antipater's family tree. It's Saul in there. Quick note, Saul's Greek name is Saulus. And it probably ain't gonna come up, but yeah, Saul is right in Herod's lineage. I got the whole family tree. Saulus. There he is, oh lawless Saulus. The family tree of Saul is based on Josephus's work. War of the Jews, Antiquity of the Jews. You know what I mean? That's crazy, bro. This stuff was just on here earlier today. I don't know if it's internet connection or what.
I remember I had that same problem when I had moved the pictures to another folder and that shit did that.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Like that ain't even right. But I show in Josephus everywhere where this Saul is at. This same Saul is related to the Herodians. The same Saul is in the very spots Paul is at in Acts, causing all type of havoc. You know what I mean? Yeah. So look at this. Why is Josephus mentioning Nero Caesar's secretary Epaphroditus? Why is it that Paul and Epaphroditus are longtime friends? Saul or Paul not only has citizenship, he's connected from the Herodian appointed high priest all the way up to the household of Caesar. To hell with the French connection. Paul has the Roman and Herodian connection. Philippians 2:24. But I trust in the Lord that I also myself shall come shortly. Yet I supposed it necessary to send to you Epaphroditus, my brother. Y'all, that's Caesar's secretary.
Wow, that's wild, right?
Epaphroditus, that's Nero Caesar's secretary. This is Paul's homeboy. My brother and companion in labor and fellow soldier, but your messenger or angel, and he that ministered to my wants. Look what you say. All the saints salute you, chiefly they that are who? Caesar's household. In closing, Yeshua of Nazareth had a family that he entrusted to continue his legacy and mission. Let's take a closer look at his bloodline. Matthew 13:55. Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Miriam or Mary, and his brother James and Joseph and Simon and Judah and his sisters? Are they not all with us? Whence then has this man all these things? Look at this, y'all, this family. It's 5 brothers and 2 sisters. It's 7 children. Don't forget his cousin John.
Right.
Y'all, this was a bloodline thing. They call this a caliphate. A caliphate. You know what I mean? And then James and his brother Simon took over after Yeshua. Then James was murdered, and after James, Simon, Yeshua's brother, took over. You see that? So this is the family he entrusted his legacy to. It wasn't a man that never met him that came around changing everything. These the brothers, and all of them was hunted by the same people. Yep, the Herodians hunted all of them from John. Remember, the Herodians chopped John the Baptist's head off. Oh,
the Herodians that was behind that?
Yeah, Herodian, the woman, and John the Baptist told one of Herod's sons, you know you ain't supposed to be bedding your brother's wife. You tripping. You know you ain't supposed to be doing that.
Right.
And he said it to him in front of everybody, and the little heifer got offended. And you know, in order to calm her down, he was like, well, what you want? She was like, I want his head on my plate. And just to keep her satisfied, that Herodian went and chopped John the Baptist's head off, bro.
Wow.
The Herodians was behind Yeshua's death, John the Baptist, James, Simon, like all them. And the Herodians were the chief tax collectors of Rome. Come on, bro. This the family he entrusted his legacy with.
Yeah, that's deep, right? That's real hostile environment too.
Yeah. Look at Mark 6:3. Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, the brother of James and Joseph and Judah and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us? And they were offended. And then I get to showing in the Gospel of the Nazarenes, it even show the names of the sisters. You know what I mean? Chapter 5:22-23. Of course, the damn picture ain't on there no more. That's crazy. It was on her earlier, y'all. Now look at this. Anyone notice the names of Yeshua's brothers are identical with some of his apostles? Look at this. James, Joseph, Simon, Judah are all the names of the Messiah's brothers.
Man.
We read earlier. Paul kind of admitted to it earlier. He said, the brothers of the Lord, which are the apostles. He kind of alluded to it in 1 Corinthians.
Right.
You know what I mean? So look at it. He had a brother named James and a disciple named James. You think this is a coincidence? Look at it. He had a brother named Joseph and a disciple named Joseph of Arimathea. And a father named Joseph. Look at this. He had a brother named Simon and a disciple named Simon. He had a brother named Judah and a disciple named Judah.
That's crazy.
Is this a coincidence, or are we to believe that some of his apostles were his actual brothers? Is that hard to believe? Galatians 1:19. Paul again. But other the apostles saw I none, save James, the Messiah or the Master's brother. So Paul admits that James is the Messiah's brother and that he's an apostle, right? Look at this. Look at Paul again, 1 Corinthians 9:5. Have we not power to lead about a sister or wife as well as other apostles and as the brothers of the master?
Wow.
The apostles and the brothers are being mentioned in the same breath.
Right.
Y'all, this is a bloodline thing. You know what I mean? Robert Eiserman talk about that. And it's another book out there too, where they actually talk about, you know what I mean, how the actual disciples and automatically, it was a family thing. You know what I mean? He got a disciple named John and a cousin named John. All this is a coincidence. They only got 5 names to choose from.
Right.
How the hell all these people with the same exact names?
Yeah, that is crazy though, when you think about it.
Come on, bro. And then Paul admits that James is his brother and he's an apostle. You see? So yeah, and then I was showing right there the chronological New Testament, HuffPost. Me and you went over that the other day. You know what I mean? But that right there, basically it right there. Selah Shalom, my brother, man. Right on for allowing your little brother to swing on through.
Let me tell you something, man.
Chop it up a little taste.
Powerful goddamn bill right there, man. Ain't no lie about that, bro. The way you deciphered the fact that and proved how Paul was hostile towards, you know what I mean, the disciples. Don't nobody talk about that. Everybody just goes and agree with Paul's writings and don't ever question his writings. They thinking he was sent from Jesus Christ, and you actually showed and distinguished that he was against the apostles before he had the conversion and after he had a conversion.
Exactly. So what's up with that?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. We got to be real with ourselves, bro. And then look, again, what's so damaging is we use his own words. Now, the majority of that presentation was straight out of Paul's own mouth.
And that's the dope shit about it, because it's like, that's what I said, those epistles are very valuable now that you know what I mean, utilize it in that manner. Like he's telling on himself for the most part. You know what I'm saying? How he feel about the disciples and his hostility towards the disciples. Yeah. Man. Yeah. That's good research, right? That's good attention.
It's coming out his own mouth. That's the crazy part. Like you can be kind of like, damn, why the hell is Malaki exposing it? Bro, listen to me. It's coming out of his own mouth. I couldn't sit up here and even do nothing like this. Had it not already, look, so what should we do? Should we take Paul's letters out and leave everything right where they at? That's the problem. You niggas is still point shaving and try to take this out and put something in. Leave everything the way it's at so the people can look at what it is.
Facts.
You feel me? And then let the people slow down. See, y'all, the understanding come when you slow down.
Right.
Slow down and get critical. Ask the questions. Who is he talking to?
Facts.
Who, what, where, when, why, and how. That's how you research. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. If you ain't asking them 6 questions, you ain't researching nothing.
That's big facts.
Yeah, because you ain't extrapolating nothing. You supposed to go into the text and pull out it's called extrapolating. Pull out every minute detail so you can paint a thorough picture of what's really going on here.
Facts.
You're not doing that. You just licking your finger and Paul, the Holy Ghost, and Paul, and Joseph, Paul, and you're not even slow down.
Niggas just holding up the book talking about they read it and shit. You know what I mean?
You can't be like that, man. You got to really slow down and get what it is. And for anybody that's on the fence, just ask yourself, according to the Bible, what are the requirements for being an apostle?
Right.
Just give it to me in Bible. You dig? If you can't find the requirements, you dig, then whoever is being called an apostle outside of Acts chapter 1 is false. Don't bring us your emotion. Just be like, well, okay, Mally, we about to go to 1 Thessalonians, but that's Paul. As you see, Paul was naming his own apostles. Paul had his own disciples. He had 12 disciples. He started naming Silas and Timothy apostles.
That's crazy. That part right there is bugged out, yo.
So trip off this. So when he says for such a false apostles, we know he ain't talking about Silas and Timothy. They with him. So who the hell he talking about then? There's only one group of apostles, and according to Paul, they even in Jerusalem. He just ain't in subjection to him. When he did go check in with him, he got what he got from him, and then he went and switched up and started teaching what he wanted to teach. He's against the dietary law. He's against the salute the Nazi dreadhead man. He's against the long hair. He's against the gospel of circumcision. He says it's another gospel, it's bondage, and whoever teaching it should be damned. He goes so far and pronounce a judgment on those teaching circumcision that they need to be castrated.
That's crazy.
That's Galatians 5 and 12, that they cut off that trouble you. Look the word cut off up. It tell you to be castrated, emasculated, because the entire Galatians 5 verse 1 down through 12, he's talking about circumcision. Behold, I, Paul, say unto you.
Not even thus saith the Lord, not even the Messiah words, but Paul himself.
Hey, what he say earlier? He say, man, eat whatever the hell you want to eat when you go to the meat market. I ask anybody right now, where the hell is that in Torah? It's not. Where is it in Torah? All things are lawful for me.
Right.
If all things were lawful, you wouldn't need a Torah, buddy.
Exactly. You wouldn't need no instructions, period, if that was the case.
You ain't put no difference between the clean and profane.
Right.
See? So I showed today, y'all showed mainly after his conversion, so-called conversion. He was hostile. He was totally against what the apostles, the real ones, was doing.
Right.
And in the end, he won out. Rome went with their boy. Makes sense, huh?
That's crazy, bro.
Makes sense, huh? Rome went with their boy. You don't even hear. Most people don't even know Jesus had brothers.
Yeah. You tell people that, they think you talking crazy.
You don't even what? Well, shit, you believe in Paul's letters, don't you? Yeah, well, Paul said in Galatians 1:19 that Jesus got a brother, got brothers, you dig, and they apostles.
Right. Look at that.
Come on, bro. You know what I mean? So he telling himself, all you got to do is just slow down, man. Slow down. And then start getting certain works out here. Again, Operation Messiah.
Okay.
Excellent read. I would suggest St. Paul, Roman Intelligence, and the Birth of Christianity. Excellent read, man. Excellent read. But the OG of all this, you dig, is my boy Robert Eiserman, man.
Yeah, that looked like the one right there.
He OG status. He about in his 80s now.
You know what?
He was one of the ones responsible for having the Dead Sea Scrolls released to the public in the 90s. He went blow for blow with the Vatican. And that's how him and his team are the ones that made them release that shit. Like, man, we got to free the scrolls, free them.
That's hard.
So you see James, the brother of Jesus. This is volume 1. 2. I got you 2 volumes together. This is over 1,000 pages. You know what I mean? I got the book under one cover too. That's how I know it's that thick. He's writing about James, the brother of Jesus. Going into the history right now. Look at the subtitle. It say the historical James, Paul the enemy.
That's crazy.
And Jesus' brothers as apostles. I would suggest y'all,
crazy.
You want to increase your understanding and learning on it. But I stand on the shoulders of some intellectual giants.
That's right.
It ain't nothing just to, you know what I mean, grab that, chop that up real quick. And hey, look, you feel me? Matter of fact, when I start reading all of Robert Eiserman, James' brother Jesus, that's when I was like, hold on, he right. When I start going through the Galatians and the Corinthians, I say, man, he's right. This cat straight saying this.
Right. He's telling on himself.
Come on, man. Easy work, man. You did. Hey, anybody got some questions? You know what I mean? Y'all can go ahead and drop them in the chat. You know what I mean? It's all good over this way, man. I'm your little brother, Malaki, Macabee, love, light, balance.
Yeah, I mean, make a time light bomb. Yeah, if y'all got some questions, drop it in the chat, definitely. You know what I mean? Definitely, if y'all got some questions, drop it in the chat. What I found interesting too, man, was the fact that what was it? because I was trying to hold on to it when you was talking. That Paul, hold on,
Man, dude ain't right though, man. It's a lot going on with dude. It's a lot. You know what I mean?
damn, it was something on the tip of my tongue. I had
I ain't never
you had said, man. I was just like, yo, that right there. Oh man.
Behold, I Paul say unto you.
Yeah, he's speaking with his own authority, bro.
Yeah, he like they count him damned. He calling these brothers.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was when he met the disciples for the second time, and how he was like so boastful about what he believed and shit. I'm like, yo, you talking to the niggas who made the Messiah? And how you gonna like go against what they say? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And he had his first show. He was calling niggas false, fake.
Yeah, and that's after he met the niggas.
Yeah, workers of Satan.
Yo, that's crazy.
He dissed your dietary law, called you weak if you plant-based. Niggas with the long hair is a shame. And whoever teach abstain from meats is a doctrine of devils. I'm like, bro, and there's people that really believe that to this day.
Yeah, I remember reading them scriptures, but never putting two and two together that Paul is actually talking about a specific group of people.
The apostles.
That's crazy, bro.
The apostles. That's what he's talking about. He ain't when he say for such a false apostles, y'all, we can take every other office off the table. He ain't talking about bishops, elders, deacons, ushers. You know what I mean? He ain't talking about the average commoner in the church. He ain't talking about the person that hold the door. He ain't talking about those that come through to help that help with administration. He talking about apostles. Well, who are the apostles according to Paul?
Right.
And where they at? They are in Jerusalem, and amongst them are the brothers of Yeshua.
That's crazy.
They're also apostles.
That's crazy, yo. I got Cal P got a question. The big homie.
Yeah, you know, Cal want to kick the hornet's nest. Yeah, Paul's letters were written in Greek, and in order to compose Greek literature, it takes an extensive amount. Matter of fact, for one, to learn how to compose Greek literature was reserved for Jewish aristocracy and Roman nobility. You know what I mean? It's like going to private school today. Everybody wasn't taught rhetoric and you know what I mean, philosophy, and then you had to be highly trained and skilled in persuasion. The works of Homer, the Iliad, the Odyssey. Like, don't nobody just wake up and start composing Greek literature. I ain't talking about knowing a few Greek words.
Right.
Like some of us know a few Hebrew words. Yom Tov, Shalom, but you ain't composing whole books in no Hebrew.
Right.
You feel me? So the fact that Paul, the New Testament period, but the fact that Paul is writing in Greek, composing his literature in Greek, shows what kind of education he had, and it wasn't a Judean education.
Right, facts.
It wasn't a Judean education. That man's a Roman citizenship. He has Roman citizenship related to the Herodians. You dig? That right there gives him the privileged access to that so-called private school learning. But that's all it is. It's like you paying top dollar for your child to go to school to learn a certain type of education. Back then, it was the Greek composition.
Right. Big
you know what
facts.
I mean? So that being that it's written in Greek right there is a red flag. Well, that means it wasn't written by poor fishermen from Galilee.
Right, and then they would have been speaking Aramaic for the most part.
They wasn't teaching Greek composition in the synagogues in Judea.
Right, facts.
No, that's reserved for the privileged. Good question, Cal. Only thing you really got from the first century is Josephus, and even that is in Greek. You mean to tell me this part of the world, there ain't nothing else written for the most part but the New Testament and the War of the Jews?
That's crazy, bro.
I mean, you other than that, what you got? Philo got some brief works out here that you ain't got nothing else.
That's crazy.
None of the first century works is in Hebrew or Aramaic. It's all in Greek. It's all in Greek. All right, well, that lets you know who composed it. It wasn't the people. It wasn't, you know what I mean, those who Messiah came to represent and all that. It wasn't the commoner. It wasn't that. It was the winners of the war.
Right. Facts.
You know what I mean? Easy work, man.
Yo, that's heavy work, bro. That's heavy work. This next level scholarship right here, man.
That's right. That's right. And all we did was just go through Paul's letters, man.
Is this what Paul saw in the desert?
He clicked the next one. That's what he's saying.
Okay. 2 Corinthians. That's a good one.
What he's saying was Christ was really Satan. Who we know is Luamong.
Transfer. Yeah, that's deep right there. That's a good one. That's a good one right there, yo. My brother Malaki Macabee came through and dropped a light bomb for the people today, man. You know what I mean? Hands down, man.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you would like to touch on before we bounce? Because I know you just dropped the book. You got a website where you got them, you know what I mean? Marvelous Max.
Yeah, man. Y'all tap in.
If y'all want to touch on that real quick, you know what I mean? Because I can show the link to the book on the
Yeah, drop the link in the chat. From Darkness to Determination, a practical guide on conquering depression and trauma. Ebook out right now. A paperback will be out next week along with the hardcover. You know what I mean? Available for purchase on Amazon. He just dropped it in the chat right there. You feel me? I'm
gonna show the link on the YouTube.
Y'all tap in. The ebook ain't number $9.99.
There you go, right there, family.
Yep, right there.
You see it?
Y'all tap in. It's by yours truly, your little brother Malaki Macabee, a practical guy. I mean, and you dealing with, you know, a lot of us deal with mental health, stress, depression, and all that. It's a practical guide on how to navigate through all that. You know what I mean? You can be victorious. It don't matter. You don't got to be a victim to your thoughts. You can be victorious and rise above it. You know what I mean? In essence, be a master of your own fate. You know what I mean? So yeah, check it out, man. The ebook is like 80-something pages. It's $9.99. The ebook on Kindle. Like I said, the paperback and all that'll be out next week. Paperback's like $19.99. You dig? But yeah, tap in with your bro, man. You'll like to read, man. It's an excellent read, and it's practical.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you're dealing with any type of depression, trauma, childhood trauma, you feel like you a victim to all that, I'm ready to tell you ain't no victim. You the victor. You know what I mean?
Big facts.
Take the bull by the horns, man. It ain't nothing. Stand up. The creator is real.
That's right.
You dig? So yeah, man. That right there, From Darkness to Determination. My first book.
Hey, that's another congratulations on that too, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Much respect. Y'all see this is the cover right here.
Yeah.
See the brother named Malaki Macabee.
Yeah, I know, man. Shout out to Bronze. Bronze hit me earlier. I was like, this is all good, though. You know what I mean? Hey, Bronze, it's all good for the paperback and the whatchamacallit, bro. You know what I mean? But all good, man.
And then you got over here, we got the Marvelous Mac. Go ahead and explain to people what we got here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Pure body oil. You know what I mean? It's long lasting. It's different than, you know, your mist, your cologne, or your perfumes. Those have alcohol in them. That's why when you spray it, it mist. I did with the body oil. I got frankincense and myrrh, holistic oils, and then I also got designers. Light Blue by Dolce & Gabbana, Dior Sauvage, Candy by Prada, Black Opium. Prices down there. I got everything from 1 ounce roll-on jars up to a gallon. To a gallon or something. So you interested in starting your own oil business, all that, get at me. You know what I mean? It's all good. Drop that website in the chat too. That link in the chat too, bro. And reach out through the site, get in touch with me. You fill out the little on board form, it'll come right to my email. You feel me? And we can get it done, man. It's all good. It's all good. We out here working though. Bro.
That's right. We trying to get it together. We getting it together. I just dropped the link in the chat for the Marvelous Mac, the body oils, and the book. So make sure y'all click that, link that, and it's also in the description. You know, when y'all come back and watch the video, y'all can get that information in the description as well. Yeah, I mean.
And I appreciate it, brother. Definitely.
Yes, sir. I see Nehemiah in the building. I see you, big homie.
Yeah, big homie, man. Brother always been there. You know what I mean?
Yes,
a great support. You know what I mean? Definitely need a solid, authentic individuals around you, especially when that circle start getting thin, boy.
That's true.
You know what I mean? You need authentic, solid, loyal people around you.
That is true, King.
So that
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, real spill. You dig? So salute to my brother Nehemiah Bun. I probably call you when I get off of here, bro. We chop it up a little taste, man. I'm just feeling good, man. Feeling accomplished. Start doing a whole bunch of different work about 3-4 months ago, and I just stayed the course.
Yes, sir,
you know
man.
I mean? Dropped a website, 3 commercials, book. Got the
sir.
rough draft for the other book already done. We got it coming out about the backdating of the Holy Scriptures. Like we working, man.
That's dope,
working,
man.
You know what I mean?
That's dope, bro. You really on top of your game too, King. Real talk.
Man, hey, I try to be, bro. I try to. And then on top of that, man, it was so much opposition, though, bro. Like when you been getting ready to do something major, it'd be so much resistance, man. I went, man. It was an emotional roller coaster these past 3-4 months, boy. I tell you. You know what I mean? Boy, it get real out in this deal. You be like, what? And it's like, dang, all these forces coming again. Here I am. I'm writing a book about overcoming depression and trauma and all that, and I'm straight battling.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everything that come through, like, man, this is wild. You dig? So I feel accomplished, man. I'm just thankful, gratitude. And shit, it's more to come, y'all. Tap in with your brother, your little brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And before we bounce, man, let the people know where they can find you on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Malaki Macabee, MAL, just like on the screen. Malaki Macabee, Facebook, Malaki_Macabee, IG. On YouTube, Honor and Humility STL, CGG TV 2. We working, man. You know what I mean? And of course, featured on my brother Selah Shalom channel, Cosmon Cow channel, Daryl Cosmon. You know what I mean? We keep each other in rotation. It's just what it is, you know what I mean? So yeah, you can always just tap in with your brother, man. Again, Malaki Macabee, Malaki. I don't spell my name like the regular Malaki. Malaki, Macabee, Macabee. All right, that's you see my page on Facebook and on IG. It's the same way, except there's an underscore between the Malaki and the Macabee.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Tap in with your little bro, man. It's all good. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. This is my brother Malaki Macabee, man. Yeah, and we're gonna try to set up another appointment. You know what I mean? Another presentation for the brother, because like I said, we got a plethora of information. He can bring out. You know what I mean? Maybe next time we could touch on that book. You can go through some chapters in the book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we could go there with it. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I would love to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is practical. Like it's something that you can start applying today. You ain't got to wait till you arrive at a certain level. You can start putting it in action today. Like, oh, okay, this is how I take the bull by the horns and take back control over my life and my thoughts.
Facts.
You know what I mean? You ain't a victim. You a victor. You dig? Hey, remember, you either the hunter or the hunted.
Facts.
The victim or the victor.
Facts.
And that's just what it is. So hey, it sometimes, guess what? It be hunting season. You got to get on the attack with these dark thoughts. When you see them coming, you got to get on the attack with them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Hey,
big facts.
So
you ain't lying about that.
Yeah, real spill. But I appreciate you though, brother, man. Appreciate you for having me on. I'm about to fall on back. We're gonna chop it up in the back. You know how we do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. I appreciate you coming on the Black World Family Channel, sharing this information, this powerful information, something different for the viewers. You know what I mean? They can go back and check it out, see a different vibe, see what's going on, and we're gonna have more presentations, podcasts coming to the people. You know what I mean? From the Black World Family to my brother Malaki Macabee, Honoring Humility, STL in the building.
Stand up. All right, bro. I'm out of here, man. I'll catch you in the back.
All right, salute, King.
Salute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And there we have it, family. That's my brother Malaki Macabee. Came through and dropped some knowledge and information. You know what I mean? Y'all stay tuned. We got the season finale we working on. You know what I'm saying? So in the process, we're going to be dropping these podcasts, these lives, different topics, different information. And again, that was the brother Malaki Macabee. He came through and blessed the joint. Y'all go back and look at it, research it. For those who's heavy in the scriptures, who's heavy into the New Testament, Pauline topics. So we got different topics. If you into this topic, study it and get back with it. So with that, your boy, Reality, a.k.a. Selah Shalom, is out of here, family. And we out.